Happy Friday, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. We are so glad you're here. This is an interactive news show. We are streaming not only on Fox Local, but on TikTok and YouTube. And so we want to hear from you. If you have a comment or a question, just go into the comment section and follow us along and just type in there. And we're going to be following, looking at it throughout the afternoon. And we hope to hear from you. We are following some news right now. In just a little bit, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, is set to speak from the White House after the U.S. Supreme Court has struck down his sweeping global tariffs in a 6-3 decision this morning, ruling that he overstepped his constitutional authority. That is set to happen. We just got the 5-minute warning a couple of moments ago, so somewhere about 1:05, we will bring that to you just as soon as we have it. But first, we want to check in and see some of the stories that we are working on right now. We have a team of reporters scattered throughout the Fox 5 viewing area. Fox 5 assignment manager Tanya Mendoza is standing by with a look, and I know we just got some breaking details on a story we've been following since Wednesday, Tanya.
Yeah, that's right. We are following up on a story that we talked about on the live stream on Wednesday. It happened on Brazelton Highway in Gwinnett County near a Burger King and a Publix, where we talked about there was an accidental shooting involving a child. 29-year-old Winder woman by the name of Nicole Johnson has been charged with reckless conduct after her 4-year-old son shot himself in the hand. And that day when this all went down, we did send a photographer out there. He actually talked to this woman off camera about what happened, and she described saying that she was getting breakfast with her son at the Burger King, and then they were eating in the car because they were going to Publix. She told our photographer that afternoon that basically she had gotten a phone call from a neighbor saying her pet was hit by a semi-truck, and that she was distraught. And then all of a sudden she looked back and saw the child holding a gun. The gun went off. And initially she thought she was shot, but the child had actually been shot, I think, possibly finger, but it was a non-life-threatening wound. He or she was transported to the hospital. The woman was charged with reckless conduct. We got the release today from Gwinnett County Police Department. She has bonded out, and we'll have an update on that story a little later. The police did in the press release say that they're using this as a serious reminder to keep firearms unloaded and locked away from children. So that's a quick update on that story, Tyler.
Something like this. So, I mean, it's important that Gwinnett County Police have to issue that reminder. It's sad they have to, but it makes sense.
Yes, indeed. We are also today following up on the Colin Gray trial. This is day 5, I believe. Testimony continues in the trial of Colin Gray, the father of the alleged Appalachia high school shooter. Today, prosecutors called GBI investigators to the stand and revealed photos of a shrine in the shooter's room dedicated to the Parkland gunman, along with tactical vests, rifles found throughout the house. Agent Heather Lashley testified that unopened gun locks were found on the scene, suggesting safety tools were available in the home. Let's listen to what she had to say.
I found a shotgun in the house, as well as multiple boxes of shotgun shells, so yes, those would match. And I also found multiple different calibers of rifle ammunition. The rifle on the top of the closet, I'm not positive which caliber it would be, so I can't confirm or deny that.
Yeah. Reporter Ray Yadena will be having updates on this story at 4, 5, and 6. Tyler?
I mean, obviously a big story. They're finally starting to talk more about Colin Gray's alleged role in what happened at Appalachia High School, where he apparently gave his son that gun, and then knowing he was a danger. I know the first few days of the trial was heavily focused on what actually happened inside the school. Now prosecutors are trying to lay out their case about how Colin was allegedly negligent and helped essentially make the shooting at Appalachia High School happen. And so what else are we following?
Reporter Angelique Proctor is following up on a story from over the weekend. On Sunday, there was a fatal shooting on Coleman Street in Atlanta, I believe in the Pittsburgh neighborhood, in that community. And, you know, like a lot of the crimes that happen, we get initial information from police and sometimes don't get the identity of victims immediately. But this family, the family of the victim, reached out via email, and she is talking to them. They identified the victim as 21-year-old Travalis, goes by the name Trey, Jaquay Tolbert Jr. He is the victim of last Sunday's fatal shooting, and the family wants him to be remembered as being a loving family member and who he was, not just remembered for this tragedy. So Angelique Proctor is going to be speaking to the family, and she'll have an update on that story later today at 4, 5, and 6. Tyler?
And then we have a positive story involving a child who just won an award. I believe he has had some sort of disease that he has now beat.
Yes, that's true. We have a story that Kevin Stewart is working on, and a young man by the name of Jalen Alexander has been named the 2026 Children's Miracle Child. He's one of several Children's Miracle Children at CHOA. Wow. And basically, Jalen beat a rare diagnosis of non-Hodgkin lymphoma, a disease that is highly unusual for his age group. So he's being honored, and he is officially cancer-free, so that's awesome. And he's not only he's involved in several things at his middle school. I believe he goes to McConnell Middle School, if I'm not mistaken, but Kevin will have all those details later. But he's in the Beta Club. He's a member of the jazz band, so we'll have much more on his story later today.
That is great. We're all glad that he's cancer-free. I mean, obviously, someone that young, you never like to hear that they're struggling. And then we also now have a happy story involving Black History Month that you're really excited to tell us about.
Yes, that's right. So in Brookhaven today, they're honoring the 12 Ladies Sewing Club, the first civic organization in the historic Linwood community. So in 1948, these women organized to bring essential services like streetlights and phone lines to their neighborhood during the era of segregation. They went on to purchase land on Osborne Road and deeded it to the school board, leading to the creation of Linwood Park Schools. Today, the same land serves as the Linwood Park Recreation Facility, a standing testament to these women's determination to shape Brookhaven's community and future. So we were there today as they were honored, and the city of Brookhaven's really excited about this, and they're honoring them. And I believe one of the family members of someone who was originally in the club was there and talked to our photographer, Tim Whaley. We'll have that story later today.
That is great. We're glad that we can go out there. I mean, it's great that they're being honored, and especially during Black History Month, all important that this is happening. Tanya Mendoza, thank you so much for the update on what we are working on today. We do appreciate you joining us here at 1 o'clock.
Thank you.
As we continue on here at 1 o'clock, we're going to talk about some other top stories that we are following. And this one is out of Gwinnett County. A chilling case of online gaming turned into a real-world danger, and it ended in an arrest of a juvenile in Gwinnett County. Police officially charged the suspect yesterday with terroristic threats and acts after a year-long investigation. Investigators say it started on the popular gaming platform Roblox, where the suspect met the female victim. When the victim stopped responding, the suspect allegedly doxed her by posting her home address online. Beyond harassing the victim, detectives uncovered evidence of a kill list and messages detailing plans to harm other women. Last year, the Gwinnett County Behavioral Health Unit assisted in a mental health evaluation after the suspect admitted to the threats. The juvenile is now being held at the Regional Youth Detention Center, and Gwinnett County PD is using this as a stark reminder: never share your address or personal details with anyone you meet online, especially through online gaming. And authorities are, of course, urging parents to monitor activity to report any threatening behavior immediately. Another story we are following has to do with Jesse Jackson. You know, he died earlier this week. We now have the details about the memorial services that will honor the life of Reverend Jesse Jackson. The plans have been expanded beyond Chicago, with events now planned for Washington, D.C. and his hometown of South Carolina. Jackson died earlier this week at the age of 84 after battling a rare neurological disorder that affected his ability to move and talk. He'll lie in repose next week at the Chicago headquarters of his Rainbow Push Coalition, with a public celebration of life and homegoing service to follow. Formal services were added, scheduled from March 1st to the 4th in Washington, D.C. and South Carolina, where Jackson was born and raised. In Chicago, a public celebration of life will be held at House of Hope Church on March 6th, followed by a private homegoing services the next day. And of course, we will keep you up to date on that one. And our next story has gripped a lot of people online and has to do with a Grey's Anatomy star. Eric Dane has died after a lengthy battle with ALS. Dane starred on Grey's Anatomy as Dr. Mark Sloan, whose character was also known as McSteamy from 2006 to 2012. The actor also struggled with addiction to painkillers and went to rehab before leaving the show. After Grey's Anatomy, Dane had a leading role as Captain Tom Chandler on the TNT series The Last Ship from June 2014 to June 2018. Eric Dane was 53 years old. And we are still monitoring this, what we're expecting out of Washington, D.C. when President Donald Trump is expected to speak on the tariffs decision. We are going to bring that to you just as soon as it does happen. But first, we do want to get a check of the forecast. We know that it has been a different feeling today after weeks of cold and ice and all of that. Finally, we're feeling like spring, but I'm told it's not going to be sticking around. Fox 5 Storm Team meteorologist Jonathan Stacy is joining me from the Weather Center. Hey, Jonathan. How you doing?
Tyler, I'm doing well. I'm tagging this as spring break, quote unquote, because it has been a week that has been quite blissful, if you will, considering how we started out 2026 and what we are going into next week. This was just definitely a departure from all things normal around here. Currently at this hour, we're at 74 degrees, 76 depending on where you are in the city. We're going to kind of hover around the mid 70s for the remainder of the day. As you can see here, the clouds stay at bay, and so do the showers. They're down to the south, and they'll continue to stay there at least during the daylight hours. But overnight, the clouds move back in, and we'll shoot out a few showers, light to moderate downpours across the far northern tier through the overnight hours. And then everybody across North Georgia gets in on the energy about mid-morning tomorrow. You can see here at 8 o'clock in the morning, 55 in Atlanta, scattered showers on the south side, and then by noon we're starting to clear the action out once more. So basically today and tomorrow are copycat days, but temperatures tomorrow probably won't get into the 70s. You can see it here now. By the time we go to bed Saturday night, clouds will come back and maybe a thin band of showers rolls through before you wake Sunday morning. But then Sunday is the ultimate day of transition as the winds will move in out of the northwest. You can see here temperatures, they are going to be stifled. We may hit 50 degrees, but probably not. It won't feel like it's 50. In fact, by the time we wake up Monday morning, temperatures will be in the 20s. So here's a look at the forecast. It's the way things shake out. We'll enjoy one more day in the 70s. Tomorrow is still nice, especially after the rain and the storms retire. Into Sunday, the winds will pick up, and that will introduce some frigid air that we'll feel with 20s popping up on the thermometer Monday and Tuesday morning. Tyler?
Are we expecting Saturday to be a washout? I know 40% doesn't usually mean that. Are we going to be good with some plans?
Yeah, just if you can shelter in place, stay inside for the first few hours of the day, 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock. By noon, I think we're starting to see some spokes of sunshine, and the afternoon and the evening should be fairly dry and pretty nice out there.
What do you expect the wind to be like on Sunday?
Oh, ferocious. We're looking at wind gusts that could top some 35 to 40 miles an hour.
Okay.
Isolated. Generally, everybody's going to pick up on gusts around 20, 25 miles an hour with sustained speeds in the teens, high 20s or low 20s. And that's just going to once again open the door wide open for that cold air to take over that we will feel ultimately when we rise Monday morning.
Jonathan, thank you so much for that. I do appreciate your time on this Friday, and I think most people can probably be happy with this forecast. It's not a complete washout. Thank you so much. And as we come back in here to our studio, I just want to once again, we're looking at live pictures from Washington, D.C., the White House, where in just a matter of minutes, we heard a second 5-minute warning about 7 minutes ago. So we are expecting President Donald Trump to walk out to the briefing room any minute now and take the podium. He is going to be talking about the sweeping global tariffs and what the Supreme Court decided this morning in a 6-3 decision, ruling that he overstepped his constitutional authority. The court found that Trump could not use his emergency powers under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act to unilaterally impose or change tariffs because the power belongs to Congress. So we're following that. As soon as he takes the podium, we'll of course bring it to you. And still ahead here on Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock, we're going to be checking in with UGA about their new medical school that they're about to launch. They're in the process of getting students. We're going to have all the details about that in just about 2 minutes. Stay with us. And welcome back to Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. We're so glad you're here. We are now talking about something that's going to be brand new next school year in Athens. For the first time in its history, the University of Georgia will be opening and launching its own medical school. The UGA School of Medicine has officially opened applications for its inaugural class and just received preliminary accreditation, clearing a major hurdle towards welcoming students in the fall. Joining us live this afternoon is Shelley Nuss, the founding dean of the new medical school. Shelley and Dean Nuss, thanks so much for joining us here.
Great. Well, I'm so happy to be here, and you're exactly right. We've got big news here out of Athens and UGA. And, you know, for nearly 200 years, there's only been one public medical school in Georgia, and now there's going to be a second one. And so great option for students who really want to have public education. And I think, you know, the main thing is let's address that physician shortage. It's been ongoing here for quite some time. So super excited about all that's going on.
Well, and Dean Nuss, why is now the perfect time to launch this school?
You know, I think the physician shortages keep growing. And you see this amazing new building that we're doing here in UGA is that we really want to address those shortages. So we're going to start at 60 students, but then ultimately we want to grow up to 120 per class. And then, of course, keep those students right here after residency practicing in Georgia. You know, Georgia ranks pretty low in most health outcome metrics in the state, and it's so important to try and get students that want to actually stay and practice here. And so one of the missions at the UGA School of Medicine is to really address broadly the rural health healthcare challenges that are across the state, and so we're super excited about that.
Well, and obviously everyone who maybe goes to UGA would like to stay at UGA if they want to go to medical school, so it allows that opportunity. You guys just received preliminary accreditation. What does that mean, and why is that a critical moment for you guys?
You know, you have to be accredited really to receive funding for education, and this was the biggest milestone. It took 2 years to get this accreditation. I will say it's some of the toughest accreditation of educational programs in the United States. We're 159th medical school, so you see there aren't that many, and so it's kind of unique and very tough. And what it does is it gives us permission to now recruit that inaugural class that you alluded to. So we're going to hit the ground running, and at 2 o'clock today, actually, we have 500 potential applicants that are interested in learning more about the school. So there's been lots of excitement to get that first inaugural class in by the fall of 26.
So you have that like open house type of thing where people can get information today at 2 o'clock, what, an hour, 40 minutes from now. What type of students are you looking for? What are you hoping to, how are you hoping to round out that 60 students? Like, how are you going to choose?
You know, that's probably the toughest thing our admissions committee will have before them here. We're going to be in a very rapid cycle because a lot of these students already have applied and even have acceptances, but we are preparing for what I would say some of the top students from Georgia to apply. This is going to be a very rigorous curriculum. We're looking for the top meritorious students.
I do need to cut you off. I do appreciate it. I appreciate you joining us and telling us all about this. But I want to take you guys to Washington, D.C. right now. President Donald Trump is speaking on the Supreme Court decision this morning. Let's take a listen.
Is deeply disappointing, and I'm ashamed of certain members of the court, absolutely ashamed, for not having the courage to do what's right for our country. I'd like to thank and congratulate Justices Thomas, Alito, and Kavanaugh for their strength and wisdom and love of our country, which is right now very proud of those justices. When you read the dissenting opinions, there's no way that anyone can argue against them. There's no way. Foreign countries that have been ripping us off for years are ecstatic. They're so happy. And they're dancing in the streets, but they won't be dancing for long, that I can assure you. The Democrats on the court are thrilled, but they will automatically vote no. They're an automatic no, just like in Congress. They're an automatic no. They're against anything that makes America strong, healthy, and great again. They also are a, frankly, disgrace to our nation, those justices. They're an automatic no, no matter how good a case you have. It's a no. But you can't knock their loyalty. It's one thing you can do with some of our people. Others think they're being politically correct, which has happened before far too often with certain members of this court, and it's happened so often with this court. What a shame. Having to do with voting in particular, when in fact they're just being fools and lapdogs for the rhinos and the radical left Democrats, and not that this should have anything at all to do with it. They're very unpatriotic and disloyal to our Constitution. It's my opinion that the court has been swayed by foreign interests and a political movement that is far smaller than people would ever think. It's a small movement. I won by millions of votes. We won in a landslide. With all the cheating that went on, there was a lot of it, but we still won in a landslide. Too big to rig. But these people are obnoxious, ignorant, and loud. They're very loud, and I think certain justices are afraid of that. They don't want to do the right thing. They're afraid of it. This was an important case to me, more as a symbol of economic national security, and also, I would say, just for our country itself, so important, because we're doing so well as a country. We've never done so well. The good news is that there are methods, practices, statutes, and authorities as recognized by the entire court in this terrible decision, and also as recognized by Congress, which they refer to, that are even stronger than the IEEPA tariffs available to me as President of the United States. And in actuality, I was very modest in my ask of other countries and businesses because I wanted to do, and it's very important, I wanted to be very well behaved because I wanted to do anything, I didn't want to do anything that would affect the decision of the court, because I understand the court. I understand how they are very easily swayed. I want to be a good boy. I have very effectively utilized tariffs over the past year to make America great again. Our stock market has just recently broken 50,000 on the Dow, and simultaneously, and even more amazingly, broken 7,000 on the S&P, two numbers that everybody thought upon our landslide election victory could not be attained. Think of that. Nobody thought it was possible to do it within 4 years, and we did it in 1 year. They said you'll never be able, you'll go back and you read the geniuses, read their statements, all of the Nobel Prize winners in economics. They said, no, you couldn't do it in 4 years. Well, we didn't do it in 4 years, we did it in 1 year. We broke every record in the book, and we're continuing to do so. Tariffs have likewise been used to end 5 of the 8 wars that I settled. I settled 8 wars, whether you like it or not, including India, Pakistan, big ones, nuclear, could have been nuclear. Prime Minister of Pakistan said yesterday at the great meeting that we had, the Peace Board, he said yesterday that President Trump could have saved 35 million lives by getting us to stop fighting. They were getting ready to do some bad things. But they've given us great national security, these tariffs have. And together with our strong borders, reduced fentanyl coming into our country by 30%. When I use them as a penalty against countries illegally sending this poison into our country to poison our youth. All of those tariffs remain. They all remain. I don't know if you know that or not. They all remain. We're still getting them, and we will after the decision. I guess there's nobody left to appeal to. But again, those 3 people, such respect. I've had a lot of respect for them anyway, but such great respect. But other alternatives will now be used to replace the ones that the court incorrectly rejected. We have alternatives, great alternatives. Could be more money. We'll take in more money, and we'll be a lot stronger for it. We're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars. We'll continue to do so. To show you how ridiculous the opinion is, however, the court said that I'm not allowed to charge even $1. I can't charge $1. Can't charge $1. I would have used 1 penny, but we don't make the pennies anymore. We save money. Can't charge $1 to any country under IEEPA. Not $1. I assume to protect other countries. This must have been done to protect those other countries, certainly not the United States of America, which they should be interested in protecting. That's what they're supposed to be protecting. But I am allowed to cut off any and all trade or business with that same country. In other words, I can destroy the trade. I can destroy the country. I'm even allowed to impose a foreign country-destroying embargo. I can embargo. I can do anything I want, but I can't charge $1. Because that's not what it says. And that's not the way it even reads. I can do anything I want to do to them, but I can't charge any money. So I'm allowed to destroy the country, but I can't charge them a little fee. I could give them a little 2-cent fee, but I cannot charge under any circumstances. I cannot charge them anything. Think of that. How ridiculous is that? I'm allowed to embargo them. I'm allowed to tell them you can't do business in the United States anymore. We want you out of here. But if I want to charge them $10, I can't do that. It's incorrect. Their decision's incorrect. But it doesn't matter because we have very powerful alternatives that have been approved by this decision. You know, they've been approved by the decision for those that thought they had us. And they're saying that I have the absolute right to license but not the right to charge a license fee. So think of that. I have the right to license, which is a very powerful word. In many ways, license is more powerful than tariffs. In fact, I was thinking about using it. But they came up with the idea that I can license, just like the people that were opposing me told them to do, but not the right to charge a license fee. Think of that. Who ever heard of such a thing? What license has ever been issued without the right to charge a fee? You get a license, you charge a fee. It's automatic, but not with this court. But now the court has given me the unquestioned right to ban all sorts of things from coming into our country, to destroy foreign countries, but a much more powerful right than many people ever thought we even had, but not the right to charge a fee. How crazy is that? Our country is the hottest country anywhere in the world right now. And it was a dead country 1.5 years ago under an incompetent president. But now I'm going to go in a different direction, probably the direction that I should have gone the first time, but I read the language. I'm very good at reading language, and it read our way 100%, but now I'll go the way I could have gone originally, which is even stronger than our original choice. As Justice Kavanaugh, whose stock has gone so well, you have to see, I'm so proud of him, wrote in his dissent, although I firmly disagree with the court's holding today, the decision might not substantially constrain a president's ability to order tariffs going forward. So, think of that. The decision might not substantially constrain. And it doesn't, he's right. In fact, I can charge much more than I was charging. So I'm going to just start. Although I firmly disagree with the court's holding today, the decision might not substantially constrain a president's ability to order tariffs going forward. That's because numerous other federal statutes, which is so true, authorize the president to impose tariffs and might justify most, if not all, of the tariffs issued in this case. Even more tariffs, actually. Those statutes include, think of that, those statutes include, for example, the Trade Expansion Act of 1962, Section 232. All of these things I know so well. The Trade Act of 1974, Sections 122, 201, 301. And the Tariff Act of 1930, Section 338, all clear. But it's a little bit longer process. I thought I'd make things simple, but they didn't let us do that. I would like to thank Justice Kavanaugh for frankly, his genius and his great ability. Very proud of that appointment. In actuality, while I am sure that they did not mean to do so, the Supreme Court's decision today made a president's ability to both regulate trade and impose tariffs more powerful and more crystal clear rather than less. I don't think they meant that. I'm sure they didn't. It's terrible. And to think that the Democrats who oppose this only because they want to go the opposite way, they'd like to pack the court. They want to put on 21 people. They want to pack the court, pack the Supreme Court. Maybe they should do it. Maybe they would be better off if they did it. They want to pack the court. They want to do anything to hurt our country. There will no longer be any doubt, and the income coming in and the protection of our companies and country will actually increase because of this decision. I don't think the court meant that, but it's the way it is. Based on long-standing law and hundreds of victories, and even, as I was pointed out before, even thousands of victories over the years, to the contrary, the Supreme Court did not overrule tariffs. They merely overruled a particular use of IEEPA tariffs. And essentially, it's used to get a fee. I can do anything I want with IEEPA, anything. I just can't charge anybody for it. I can license, I just can't charge them. It's ridiculous, but it's okay because we have other ways, numerous other ways. The ability to block, embargo, restrict, license, or impose any other condition on a foreign country's ability to conduct trade with the United States under IEEPA has been fully confirmed by this decision. So now there's no doubt, because, you know, there were a lot of questions about tariffs because no president was smart enough to use them to protect our country from those countries and businesses that were ripping us off. You took a look at the deficits that we had with some of these countries. It was disgraceful what they got away with for many, many decades. But now we know, because this decision affirms all those things that some people weren't sure about. In order to protect, and it says so, in order to protect our country, a president can actually charge more tariffs than I was charging in the past period of a year under the various tariff authorities. So we can use other of the statutes, other of the tariff authorities, which have also been confirmed and are fully allowed. Therefore, effective immediately, all national security tariffs under Section 232 and existing Section 301 tariffs, they're existing, they're there, remain in place, fully in place, and in full force and effect. Today, I will sign an order to impose a 10% global tariff under Section 122, over and above our normal tariffs already being charged. And we're also initiating several Section 301 and other investigations to protect our country from unfair trading practices of other countries and companies. Thank you for your attention to this matter, and I say quite simply, which I've said for a long time, make America great again. And interestingly, we've already made it great, so I don't have to use that, but I don't think we'll ever give up on MAGA. MAGA is always going to be with us. If you have a few questions, you can let us know. But just to end, so we're going forward, we will be able to take in more money, and there'll no longer be doubt, because there was always doubt. I know the people that brought the lawsuit, and you know, they're sleazebags, major sleazebags, but I know them, and they're foreign country centric. They were sending things into our country, and the people representing them knew full well, but they were sending things into our country, and they were beneficial to other countries, but very, very bad for us. And I stopped it, and we'll just keep it going. So we have we have a totally firm decision now, and I don't think the court meant it, because the court doesn't show great spirit toward our country, in my opinion. A lot of bad decisions, but there are usually ways around it. This is something we could have done, as Justice Kavanaugh said, we could have done this originally, but we're doing it now, and the numbers could be far greater than the hundreds of billions we've already taken in. Yeah, please. Thank you, Red.
To President Donald Trump speaking from the briefing room at the White House. He is now taking questions from reporters, but just a quick recap of what we just heard over the last about 15, 20 minutes from the President of the United States. He was responding to the decision by the U.S. Supreme Court today that struck down his, and saying that he overstepped his constitutional authority with the tariffs. Trump says he is, quote, absolutely ashamed of Supreme Court justices who issued deeply disappointing tariff decision. He says he's going to find another way to be able to continue on with his economic agenda. He called the justices who made this decision a, quote, disgrace to our nation. And he said this was a very important case for him. And he said we're going to have to find alternatives, and he does plan to do that. So obviously on the right side of your screen, you're looking at the president and also the gallery of reporters who are now questioning him. We appreciate you sticking with us and taking a live look at this press conference with us. We're going to take a quick break, and Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock will continue after this. And welcome back to Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. We are continuing on. For the first time in about 50 years, the Peachtree Road Race has a new title sponsor. Atlanta Track Club has announced that Northside Hospital is now the naming rights partner of the world's largest 10K race. Joining us live is Atlanta Track Club CEO Rich Knaah to talk about what this historic change means for the future of the big race. Rich, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
Well, we appreciate you joining us. And so is this a big milestone for you guys, a big change for what you guys are going to be doing over the course of as you continue on with the new part of, as you write history going forward?
Yeah, that's a good point. We're writing history as we speak. You don't change title sponsors very often for the Peachtree Road Race. It's been about a half a century with the AJC in front of the words Peachtree Road Race, and we're excited that Northside Hospital is going to take that, hopefully for the next 50 years.
Yeah, and so what does this transition represent for the evolution of the race?
So this summer, the Track Club finished and completed its strategic planning process for the next 3 to 5 years. And in there, we called for our interest, our focus to create meaningful partnerships with healthcare companies so that we can act together on our mission of making Atlanta healthier through running and walking. So this is sort of that first sort of visual step of leaning into that next step, if you will, of making Atlanta one of the healthiest cities in the United States.
Obviously been a big partner of the race for years, but how will this expand? How will they expand their presence now?
So Northside Hospital has 5 campuses throughout the Atlanta metro area, and they have 34,000 employees. It's a great fit. It's an organization that is a perfect fit for the Peachtree. While the Peachtree, as you referenced, is the world's largest 10K, 89% of the participants are from the state of Georgia. So whether it's the 34,000 employees that work at Northside Hospital or the tens of thousands of people that they treat in the Atlanta metro every year, we're going to lean on them. They're going to lean on us to fulfill that vision of Atlanta, again, being known as the healthiest city in the United States.
Are there going to be any health and wellness initiatives tied to having Northside as your title sponsor?
There will be. So as a matter of fact, we just got out of a meeting where we're talking about our in-training for Peachtree programs. And in there, we will layer in messaging, information, teachings, learnings from subject matter experts, whether that has had to deal with heat, whether that is nutrition, weight loss, dealing with underlying cardiac issues or diabetes. To have a partner like Northside Hospital, we'll be able to get people off the couch, get them moving on the 4th of July in a way that only Atlanta does.
And so does this partnership go beyond just the July 4th race? I know you guys have a number of different other options. You have the junior one, and then you started that polar opposite one in recent years.
Yeah, we did. So the Peachtree is a brand in and of itself. So the day before, on July 3rd, we have our Peachtree Junior, and then you referenced our polar opposite Peachtree in early January, which has about 10,000 or so people. So Northside Hospital will be with us for anything and everything that we refer to as Peachtree. So we'll see them year-round as they interact with us here at Atlanta Track Club.
So I understand registration opens soon. What can people expect, and how many runners are you guys hoping for?
Yes. So mark it on your calendars. April 1 will be the opening of our lottery for the 57th running of the Northside Hospital Peachtree Road Race, and that'll close on April 21st. We have a hope and an expectation that this might be the largest Peachtree we've ever had. It just so happens to land on the 4th of July, and as you may know, everybody may know, 250th anniversary of Independence Day. We'll also have Atlanta in the spotlight as a result of World Cup. So we're using a theme this year, and we're calling it Peachtree Unites. Peachtree unites Atlanta, unites Georgia, unites America, and unites the world.
You know, what's funny, I did not even think about the fact that the World Cup is going to be here during the race. How do you think that's going to impact it? I know you said this is going to likely be the biggest one ever, but how could that impact what's going to happen, who you're going to see, maybe the number of people outside of Georgia who are going to be taking part?
So there are World Cup games on July 1 and July 7, and those are knockout round games. So we won't know which teams will be playing, and as a result, which countries will have their fans here. So we're going to hold back some Peachtree entries for those last few days so that we can give all of those international visitors a taste of what we all know here as the Peachtree.
As if you guys are planning ahead, you want to be ready for anyone and everyone who may be coming to our city. Rich, thank you. Rich, thank you so much for joining us here on Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock and talking about your new title partner and also all the fun that's going to be happening soon here in Atlanta in the next few months. I do appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And as we come back into our studio here for Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock, I want to talk about another story, and it's probably one of the funnest ones you'll probably see in this newscast today. The Golden Girls Kitchen is open at Pullman Yards. It's a pop-up experience for fans of the iconic sitcom. And Fox 5's Paul Milliken got a look inside.
Hey everybody, Paul Milliken here. I know what you're thinking. Paul, you went to Miami and you didn't take us with you. Well, I did not go to Miami. In my head, I did. But physically, I'm at Atlanta's Pullman Yards. Now look, I am a super fan of the Golden Girls. Many of you know that. And every time I watch the show, I think, I just want to be in that kitchen having cheesecake with my friends. Well, now is my chance and your chance too, because the Golden Girls Kitchen pop-up experience is here. And my Golden Girl BFF this morning is Nicole. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yes, I am loving what you have brought here to Pullman Yards. So for the folks who haven't seen it already on Good Day Atlanta, what is the Golden Girls Kitchen experience?
Of course. So it is a fully immersive pop-up experience. It's not only a pop-up for photo ops, but we also have a full dining and drinking experience.
Yeah.
We have high teas, we have drag brunches. So it's really just the headquarters for people who want to experience Golden Girls.
For me and my friends, my people. And so what sets this apart is a couple of things. Number one, this is licensed by the studio, so you really were able to replicate what we see on screen.
Yes, totally. So it's a fully immersive experience. So everything you're eating, everything you're drinking, everything you're even hearing, the music, everything, the decor, it is fully Golden Girls.
Yes, and then also the fact that it is a dining experience. So when you make your reservation, when you book your tickets, you get 90 minutes at a table, right?
Yes, so you make reservations. Tickets are starting at $20 exclusively on bucketlisters.com.
Okay.
It's a 90-minute reservation, but that also comes with a welcome drink, a complimentary welcome drink. We have cocktails and mocktails, and a $5 merch credit.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
love that. And then you can order from the menu because, again, it's a dining experience. So what's on the menu?
So, of course, we have to have cheesecake.
You gotta have cheesecake.
This is actually our cheesecake flight, which is a part of our high tea service, but we have tons of cheesecake.
Yeah, I was going to say, Nicole's being very classy, not saying that there were slices of cheesecake earlier and we ate them.
We might have had to clear the table.
We completely devoured them. And then some other food, too.
Yes, so we have, of course, Sophia's cavatappi.
Yes.
We have cheese balls. We have a Miami Cuban sandwich. We have garlic bread with our secret sauce.
Oh, yeah.
We also have plenty of drinks for any taste buds. So we have Negronis, we have martinis, we have daiquiris, margaritas.
Make you feel like you're in
mocktails.
Miami.
Yeah, we have to have that tropical vibe.
You
here, know?
really do. You were saying before, I mean, this has gone to many cities before. It's been around for several years. Atlanta is really responding to this.
People are obsessed. Atlanta's actually one of the biggest markets for Golden Girls fans.
Yeah.
So when we were coming, people lost their minds.
Yes, you know why? Because we have good taste here in Atlanta. Thank you so much for spending the day with us.
Of course, thank you.
Of course, and I'm getting so tired. So if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go into my bedroom really quickly. I just feel exhausted. I need a nap. So follow me, if you would, into my boudoir over here. This might look familiar as Blanche's boudoir. I'm going to slip off my shoes. I'm going to jump into bed, and if you'll excuse me, everybody, it's time for a nap in Miami, like Blanche.
Looks so comfortable. And Paul, I wish I could try that cheesecake. I know you said you got to eat some of it earlier. I'm kind of jealous, and I think people are going to want to go check that out. We have all the details on our website, fox5atlanta.com. Just click on the Good Day Atlanta section. We still have a lot more ahead here on Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. We're going to take you to a Black artist showcase in Atlanta. Stay with us. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. We're so glad you're sticking with us here on this Friday afternoon. The Black Artist Showcase kicked off at Greenbrier Mall today, and our Eli Jordan is checking it out. Let's check in with him. Hey, Eli, good afternoon.
Hey, Tyler. Yeah, people put the final touches on their booths and all that. And, it's going to be a really cool next 2 weekends in celebration of Black History Month. And, 2 weekends of, we got artists, got jewelry, and we also have a fashion show. And I'm with one of the fashion designers, Queen Aniva. Aniva, hello, Queen. How you doing?
I'm fine, Eli. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So, you're here to show off your wares and whatnot.
Show. I'm the producer of the fashion show. I'm Queen Aniva. I'm a wearable art artisan. Everything you see here, I made it. We've got wonderful mud cloth, beautiful coats, one of a kind, outlined in gold. We have batiks. We have fur. We have all kinds of capes. And this is a batik process. It's made by hand batik. This is mud cloth. Mud cloth is actually made from mud. So this cloth is mud cloth, and we put it with the minky fur. So this is our fall collection. It's totally lined. Everything we do is 5-star finishing.
Awesome.
We specialize in wearable art.
So you guys are you're here for the Black Artist Market.
I'm here for the Incredible Artist Market. I am Incredible Artist Market, and I am the fashion producer for the show.
And so you're having a fashion show next week, correct?
Yes, on the 8th. No, on the 28th.
28th.
Look at that. This is our Wakanda Forever, all made from hand-woven fabrics. Look at that.
And you made all these yourself?
Every single one. Everything you see, I made it.
So what can people expect on the 28th at 3 p.m., correct?
Yes. Fashion Heritage, the Cultural Connection is more than a fashion show. It's a history lesson. Because while you're experiencing the fashion show, we'll also be taking you on the journey of the textiles, where they're made from, the processes, how they're made. I want to show you a process that I developed in Africa. This is called cordado. Look at this. And guess what? It's all made with cord. Look at this, Eli. You won't believe it. One by one by one.
Oh, wow.
One by one by one.
Lots of heart and soul put into this.
Lots of work. Lots of work. And we do jackets, we do coats, we have vests. It's just an assembly of all kinds of fabulosity. Look at that vest.
So, Aniva, real quick, just tell me, if
Yes.
people are interested in coming out here and checking out the artist market,
Yes.
It's going to be this weekend and next weekend.
Next weekend is the fashion show. The artist market is going to be going from today till Sunday, and next weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And Saturday, next week, is our fashion show on the 28th, starting at 3 p.m.
Cool,
and
3
we
p.m.
will start punctually on time. We have 5 designers coming in. We've got Alon coming out of Ghana. We got Mike Sila coming from Senegal. We have Pride hats coming out of Los Angeles. Myself, we have so many beautiful artisans in the market, jewelers, Zambezi, Sarge is in charge, and we are just going to indulge our people in their history, their culture. They're going to see what they've never seen before. They're going to witness something that they've never experienced.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Queen
Thank
Aniva.
you.
And so that's what you guys can expect if you come out here to Greenbrier Mall this weekend and next weekend. Queen Aniva has her booth, which she's using a vacant storefront here, and she's got it going on, and they're going to have the fashion show, and and later on when they get all the markets set up out here, we'll have some artist markets out here, and come out and check it out this weekend and next weekend in celebration of Black History Month. Tyler, back to you.
Eli, thanks so much for showing us and giving us a look inside this showcase. We do appreciate it. And we'll see you in just a couple of hours, over the next few hours. I'm joined by Tom here at the desk to talk about what is coming up on The Pulse tonight on Fox Local and it's on air at Fox 5 Atlanta.
You know what impressed me so much about the fashions we just saw is the intricacy. All of those are handmade.
Yep.
Everything is made by machine now. So to get these items, these clothing items, to demonstrate the colorfulness of this kind of fashion is extraordinary. And the fact that they're handmade
beautiful.
Is amazing. And what a way to celebrate Black History Month, Tyler. You know, coming up at 7 o'clock tonight on The Pulse, which you can watch on Fox 5 and stream here on Fox Local, a new ranking from Wallet Hub found Atlanta is 7th among the most financially distressed cities in the United States. So we're right up there near the top. People are having trouble. People are going into credit card debt. In fact, more people here in Atlanta research debt online on average than in many other cities in the United States. So tonight at 7 o'clock, we're going to be talking about how we manage our finances, why people might be getting into so much debt. It might be easier to borrow now, but debt is not a good thing. And why Atlanta happens to be at the top of that ranking. All of that tonight, and a couple of other cheerful topics tonight that we're going to be talking about on The Pulse. You can join the conversation as always. Go to fox5atlanta.com/The Pulse, scan the QR code there, leave your comments, and we, of course, read a lot of them on air because you're part of the discussion as well, Tyler. Tonight at 7 o'clock.
That'll be a good topic to talk about along with the other ones. We do appreciate you guys joining us for Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. The news will continue at 2 o'clock with Ariel Onstadt and then at 3 with Tom Haynes. We appreciate you joining us here on this Friday, and we'll be back on Monday. But if you want to stick around for more news, we're back in 2 minutes.
Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being live here with us at 2 o'clock. We've got a lot to cover. The latest on the Supreme Court's ruling on President Donald Trump's tariffs has just come down, and we just recently heard from the president about that ruling. Him calling the ruling from the Supreme Court deeply disappointing. We're going to explore why that is coming up in just a little bit as you take a live look there in Washington, D.C. at the United States Supreme Court. We're going to learn a little bit more about the justices who made their decision, and we're going to speak with Fox's Caroline Shively about this coming up. But first, I'd like to start here a little closer to home. As you know, testimony does continue in the trial of Colin Gray. He is the father of Colt Gray, accused in the Appalachia High School shooting in September of 2024. And Ray Urena joins us live now to talk about what's unfolding in the courtroom today. Ray, we've heard a lot this week. This puts the cap on week one of this trial. What are we learning?
Well, earlier today, Ariel, we heard from a crime scene investigator that prosecutors called to testify. She was one of the people who was assigned to process and document the Gray home the same day that the shooting happened at Appalachia High School. And this is also the first time that we're seeing exactly what it was like inside of the Gray home at that time. Now, GBI Special Agent Heather Lashley says that she documented numerous photos and documented the layout of the home. She also took photos of the shrine accused shooter Colt Gray had in his room, dedicated to Nicholas Cruz, who is the confessed Marjorie Stoneman Douglas shooter in Parkland, Florida. Inside, Lashley says investigators found tactical style vests, rifles, boxes of ammunition, and gun locks, some of which appeared to be unopened. We also heard from Debbie Polhamus, who is Colt's grandmother and Colin's mother-in-law. She testified to Colt's mother's struggles with addiction, the family dynamic inside of the Gray home, and how her daughter tied her up one night after threatening to kill Colin Gray.
There was a chair sitting there with a blanket on it, and she said, "I want you to sit down." I said, "For what?" And she said, "I know you're going to call the police as soon as I leave, and I'm not going to let you do that." So I sat down and she taped me, and I didn't fight her.
Polhamus also says she would try to visit the Gray home at least once a month. She was there just days after Colt told her that his dad had gifted him a gun for Christmas.
Whenever you went up there, where was the gun?
I never really looked for it. Sometimes, the couple of times I did see it, it was in Colt's room in the corner, propped up in the corner.
Right now, prosecutors are introducing text messages to the jury that Colt sent to his grandmother just days before the Appalachia High School shooting. Ariel?
Ray, it's really interesting to be hearing some of this testimony today. You know, I understand it is your first day in the courtroom. What sense are you getting from those in the courtroom? Can you tell me a little bit about what the jury is made up of and how they might be reacting to some of this just from what you've observed?
Well, in the courtroom, Ariel, there is a dividing wall from where the media is allowed to sit and where the jury is sitting. So there is no way we could see how the jurors are reacting. I did count somewhat of an even split between male and female, and it looks like a pretty diverse jury from what I've seen them walking in and out of the room. It looks like they're a very diverse set of group with a different set of ages. But as far as how they're reacting to evidence, we're not able to see that because the sheriff's office has put a dividing wall between where the media is sitting, where we have the pool camera set up, and where the jurors are sitting.
Good to know, Ray. I think that is really helpful in informing the coverage to understand what you're seeing there inside the courtroom. As kind of a final question to you, anything strike you as interesting with all of the testimony that you've heard today? I understand you were able to play some of those bites for us, but anything else that stood out to you?
Yeah, I believe this was the first time we've actually seen the shrine in person that accused shooter Colt Gray had in his home prior to the shooting. Prosecutors actually brought that poster board out into the courtroom to show the jury. Again, we were not able to see what the jury reacted when they actually saw the poster board itself brought out in front of them. So that was the first time we've seen it. We also seen how a lot of the guns around the house were sometimes loose in closets. We mentioned the gun locks. Those appeared to be be unopened. Those were some of the things that struck us. But also right now, we were listening to some of the text messages that are being exchanged, and those are very visually striking, and we'll have those coming up at 4 p.m. They do include some explicit language, so we are going to have to blur that language out there, but they do strike me just being an observer here today.
Ray, good to know. Thank you for sharing your insight and giving us an understanding of what's unfolding in the courtroom today. I really appreciate it. I'm going to let you get back inside the courtroom and continue listening to testimony. Thanks so much for joining us. As we continue here at 2 o'clock, I want to continue updating you guys on the latest with President Donald Trump. As you know, he visited Georgia yesterday, and one of the big messages the president did have was the economy, and this was essentially a campaign-type visit for the president ahead of the special election that's to be held here in Georgia. And one of the things the president did, as well as tout the economy, was talk a little bit about what he feels has been key to his economic agenda. Of course, as he made his case to voters on the economy, he said he has won affordability, and he pointed to tariffs as being a key factor in that. Fox News polling suggests otherwise, with people who were polled saying that the economy is not in good shape. Just 3 in 10 people believed that it was. And one thing that the president said yesterday here in Georgia is that without tariffs, this company would be in trouble right now. Well, today we're getting a clearer picture of what things are going to look like moving forward, because the Supreme Court has made its decision, and it struck down the Trump administration's sweeping global tariffs in a ruling, major ruling today. The court, in a 6-3 ruling, rejected the global tariffs imposed under the Emergency Powers Law, and this is a significant loss to the president's economic agenda. He called this case one of the most important here in United States history, and I'd like to go out to Fox's Caroline Shively to help make sense of this decision. Caroline, thanks so much for joining us. I know the president just wrapped up questions with reporters. What is he saying about the Supreme Court's decision today?
He is extremely angry about this. He had insults for the court, for the justices who wrote the majority opinion. And the most interesting thing he said today is he will be signing an executive order sometime today that raises a 10% tariff on top of other tariffs that were left in place, not these reciprocal tariffs. To roll back and talk about what the Supreme Court did today, they effectively blocked those country-specific reciprocal import taxes for now, and that potentially exposes the federal government to hundreds of billions of dollars in reimbursement claims. Now, those product-specific tariffs, like on autos and furniture and pharmaceuticals, those aren't affected. They remain in place. And now what will be coming in about 3 days, according to President Trump, when he signs that executive order, another 10% tariff on top of that.
Caroline, really interesting to try to understand what this is going to mean moving forward. And, you know, I've seen a lot of people talking about this. There was discussion before the Supreme Court's ruling that Americans might get money back from this. What do you know about that?
Yeah, President Trump had said that numerous times, floating the idea that Americans could get a $2,000 check from the tariffs. I think this makes it a lot less likely. It was never officially put in place, just sort of an idea that had been floated. Already with these tariffs, about $175 billion have been collected. President Trump, at this briefing he wrapped up a few minutes ago, said that he could make even more money for the country with this new 10% tariff. But I think as of now, with this, the existing tariffs, reciprocal tariffs being struck down, I think it is very unlikely.
Good to know. You know, I understand the president, obviously under the Emergency Powers Law, was able to do some of these tariffs. Other tariffs were under other laws. Do we expect the president to try to look for other laws to enact tariffs under?
He mentioned specifically that 10% that we've been talking about, but he has several things in his toolbox, according to other administration officials, saying he will be looking into things. They will be having litigation that could indeed go back up to the Supreme Court. So they're looking into things that these tariffs could be put in place, extra ones. This was a key economic piece of the administration, how they were making their money. They said they were using this to draw down the deficit. Without it, they said they need new tools.
Caroline, as a final question for you here, what does this mean for the average American? You know, if someone's watching this and thinking, am I going to pay tariffs on furniture, or if I'm going to pay tariffs on other goods, what's kind of the message to them? How do they make sense of this?
Wait and see. Now, we can tell you some of those tariffs are in place. Furniture, pharmaceuticals, autos, of course. Those are product specific. Steel, you got those? They're sticking around. From specific countries, though, these reciprocal tariffs will be going away with this ruling. We'll have to wait and see what extra tariffs that the president has promised do actually go in place, how those will be litigated. But in terms of dollar-specific amounts, one estimate I saw said the average American family pays an extra $1,000 in tariffs. That money should at least be cut in half.
Caroline, I appreciate your time this afternoon. Thank you for making sense of this with us. I'll let you go and get back to it, and we'll see you back here around 3 o'clock. So thank you so much. As we continue here at 2, you guys, I want to continue updating you on some other things that President Trump is doing. One thing that the president has recently done is order the release of any government documents related to extraterrestrial life, alien encounters, and UFOs. So let's talk about this, because the big question that a lot of people have is, are they out there? Are they here? What does this mean? And a Pentagon spokesperson says that the department is willing to comply with the president's order and looks forward to doing so. It follows some curious comments from former President Barack Obama, who appeared on a podcast and spoke a little bit about the possibility of extraterrestrial life. Now, he's since clarified his position on Instagram, saying, quote, "The distances between solar systems are so great that the chances we've been visited by aliens is low, and I saw no evidence during my presidency that extraterrestrials have made contact with us." Really? But he did kick up speculation about what the government really knows about extraterrestrial life. Air Force One, clearly an identified flying object, but it was while on board that the president seemed miffed about former President Obama's comments. Take a listen.
So aliens are real? Well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. Well, he made a big mistake.
President said that on board Air Force One, actually, right before he got off and landed here in Georgia. And so we'll continue to keep you updated when the Pentagon does release any documents related to extraterrestrial life. In the meantime, though, here internationally speaking, what is the president weighing on Iran? What actions is he looking at? Tensions are mounting between Iran and the United States, despite a second round of talks in Geneva. Now, the president is threatening to launch an attack if a deal is not struck regarding Iran's nuclear program. Iranian forces and Russian sailors have been conducting annual drills in order to build up troops in the Middle East. And in the meantime, the United States has sent its largest aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald Ford, that is nearing the mouth of the Mediterranean Sea and will soon be in place. At the White House, the move comes as President Trump is weighing a limited strike reportedly on Iran, saying Iran has 10 to 15 days maximum to reach an agreement. Otherwise, it may face consequences. Iran's Minister of Foreign Affairs showed some optimism, saying that Iran has agreed to draw up a written proposal to address U.S. concerns. But this is something that we're going to continue to follow, because just before the breakfast at the National Governors Association's winter meeting today at the White House, the president actually discussed Iran. Take a listen.
Well, we'll either make a deal or we're going to get a deal one way or the other.
The president was talking a little bit about how he is considering a limited strike there in the country. And he actually, that was aboard Air Force One. But just this morning, the president had said that he was weighing that limited strike. And he said that in conversation with the governors. And this is something we'll continue to keep you guys updated on. As of now, the Wall Street Journal is reporting that if there is an initial strike by the United States, only a few military or government sites would be targeted here. But as we take a look at what is unfolding in the Middle East, the President's Board of Peace held its first meeting this week. They convened Thursday with a dozen or so countries taking a look at the peace plan for Gaza. Some members have upped their pledge to $7 billion. Others are pledging personnel to help rebuild Gaza after the war with Israel. Now, the total cost to rebuild could reach $70 billion. Members are expected to commit several thousands of dollars leaders and, of course, military members for a stabilization force. Some of the U.S.'s closest allies, like France and Germany, have not joined the Board of Peace and have instead pointed to the United Nations as an international governing body that has their support. While that meeting focused on ending a war, of course, like we were just discussing, another one may be brewing. Lawmakers return from recess next week, and Congressman Ro Khanna and Thomas Massey do plan to force a vote that would require the president to get congressional approval before an attack on Iran. The assets are now in place right now in the Middle East to make an attack by the United States possible as early as this weekend. So congressional leaders are concerned, saying that they want to be able to give their approval before any military action would be taken. No doubt, military leaders, or rather congressional leaders, voicing some concerns after the United States attack in Venezuela. So that is something we're going to continue to keep you guys updated on. In the meantime, I want to let you know what is unfolding in Great Britain, as today we learned that police are searching the home of former Prince Andrew, and we've seen different reporters and other police officers outside of his former residence. They were there at the Royal Lodge at Windsor Castle, where Prince Andrew had lived for decades. He was evicted by his brother, now King Charles, last October. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor was arrested Thursday, like we've been reporting, on suspicion of misconduct while in public office, linked to his friendship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Now, his arrest comes on his 66th birthday, and after emails to Epstein allegedly showed the former prince sharing confidential information and government documents with Epstein, including details of official trips while serving as Britain's trade envoy. The former prince is the first senior British royal to be arrested in nearly 400 years. He has not been charged yet, and he has not been exonerated either. Virginia Guthrie is a woman who says she was trafficked to Britain to have sex with Andrew when she was 17 years old. She died by suicide last year, and though Thursday's investigation is separate from her allegations against the former prince, her family members are weighing in. Take a listen.
I can't call her. I can't tell her how proud I am of her. We can't tell her how much we love her, and that everything that she's been doing has, not in vain.
I mean, you can dig through file after file, testimony, deposition after deposition of Virginia's, and you can see how much she was telling the truth. And at this point, I think we have a feeling of vindication. And to be quite honest with you, I don't know if it'd be quite as much what she would say, but maybe what she would do. She'd be popping open a little cork of champagne right here and pouring it out for her survivor sisters, and taking a sip and cheersing up and saying, hey girls, we got a long way to go here, but let's take this one today.
We'll continue to keep you updated as we learn any new information about the former prince's arrest and whether or not any charges are filed in this case. Coming up, we're going to take a check here closer to home of your weather forecast in the metro Atlanta area. If you've walked outside, it's beginning to feel like a late spring day, but that's not likely to stick around. So we're going to talk about it and, of course, about how this might affect the pollen if you're starting to feel affected by that, coming up next. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being here. I want to get you the latest updates we're getting regarding the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. The search for the mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie has now reached its 20th day. There's no new leads, but more unanswered questions. It seems like every single day we have unanswered questions. First and foremost, did the suspects have any help? One of the things that we're taking a look at, with no persons of interest, no suspect or vehicles being named yet, investigators aren't ruling out whether or not an accomplice was involved in this. The big thing that a lot of people that were asking is, who is this masked man we've seen on the creepy doorbell camera video the night that Nancy Guthrie disappeared? And it's the question that investigators are stumped by. They have not turned up any leads in FBI databases regarding criminals. And while some who've spent their careers in law enforcement are speaking on this, others really just don't think that this person acted alone. Throughout the 3-week investigation, the Guthries have posted pleas on Instagram, shifting from saying they will pay a ransom to desperate requests to asking for help from the public. Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie's most recent plea directly to her mother's abductor was posted 5 days ago. She's reportedly still in Tucson, but as the investigation drags on and no answers have come forward, and experts say it might be time for another public post in order to generate maybe more leads. Nancy's neighbors are still hoping the family's pleas are going to strike a chord and she will be returned. The flood of tips coming to the Pima County call center is slowing down, but officials are still urging people who think they might have credible information to give them a call. The next steps that we know of in this investigation from investigators is that they're going to be submitting DNA found on the glove, as well as inside of Nancy Guthrie's home, to genealogical databases to see if there's someone that turns up a match who maybe has not been linked to criminal activity, but could link a potential family member to this. So we'll continue to keep you updated as we get any new information. In the meantime, I'm going to bring you back out here closer to home with meteorologist Lauren Robinson. So Lauren, welcome. Thanks for being here. It is warm outside. I feel like I'm now at that season where I'm gently dabbing my face, and it's too early in the year to be doing that.
Well, good thing you said that, because it's only going to last a few more days. We're going to see cooler weather move back in, and winter is not done with us just quite yet. But in the meantime, it does feel more than spring-like. It feels almost summer-like out there, with temperatures in the middle to upper 70s. We're at 78 degrees right now in Atlanta. Same goes for Rome, 79 in Eatonton and Covington, already in the 80s. 81 degrees there yesterday. Right now, yesterday we did break a record high. We're looking to do that again today as these temperatures just continue to soar under all of that sunshine. Now, as we take a look at these winds, it's pretty breezy out there. We're seeing those winds gust up to 10 to 20 miles per hour. Some areas even windier than that. 24-mile-per-hour wind gusts in Gainesville, 26-mile-per-hour gusts in Covington, 28 in Athens. In downtown Atlanta, as well as in Canton, we're seeing 14-mile-per-hour winds. So it's pretty breezy out there, which is actually helpful with as warm as it feels, but not quite helpful when it comes to those pollen counts. So you want to continue to watch for increased pollen numbers as we go through the rest of this afternoon. Now, we did get a little bit of light rain this morning. We saw a line of showers push through around between 7 to 9 o'clock, depending on where you were. Those moved out quickly, and behind it, we did get some sunshine, and we're going to hold on to that sunshine through the rest of the day. Now, as you take a look at what's in store, here's that cold front that passed through. That's what gave us that line of showers earlier this morning. As that continues to move, we're going to look for this low pressure system off to the east to build in. What that's going to do is it's going to bring actually a couple rounds of rain. We're going to see some early morning rain showers tomorrow. Those will be light, but then as we go into our Saturday evening, here's where we're looking for more storm chances. Those storms are looking to bring more rainfall. That's also where we're going to see maybe some lightning, thunder, gusty winds. We do even have the possibility for a spin-up tornado further south. That'll move out late Saturday night into Sunday morning, and behind it, we're going to see clearing, but we're also going to see cold weather start to fall in from the north. So that's going to continue to drop our temperatures as we go to the beginning of next week. As far as rainfall totals, with the light rain showers that we're expecting tomorrow morning and then those storms tomorrow evening, most of us could see roughly around 1/4 inch of rain by Sunday morning. And again, much needed as we do continue to try and climb our way out of our statewide drought. As far as severe weather is concerned, areas off to the south are where we do have that severe weather outlook there. Now, that's not updated completely, but we will be seeing some of the far southern counties in that level 1. We're not expecting hail. Now, that graphic showed up wrong, but we are going to be seeing some gusty winds. We do have the brief tornado pop up again tomorrow evening, and that's going to be the far southern counties. That's going to be through areas like LaGrange, Thomason, maybe pushing up toward Griffin. Metro Atlanta, not looking for tornado possibilities, but we will see some heavy downpours and gusty winds. In the meantime, today we've already exceeded these highs expectations. We were supposed to get into the middle to upper 70s. We're already at 78 degrees, and we're only at 228 in the afternoon. So we could get a little bit warmer. We could even see 80 degrees as we make it the next few hours. Overnight, our lows actually look like what our highs should look like. We're falling into the upper 50s to low 60s. Again, very mild. Now, let's take a look at our 7-day forecast. Again, we've already exceeded the 75 degrees. We're at 78 now. And again, we're just a few degrees off of 80, which would be breaking another record high. As we go into the day tomorrow, this is where we're looking for those storm chances. Again, morning showers and storms, not looking to be as intense, but those afternoon and evening ones, especially with all the heating that we're going to see tomorrow, you do want to watch for maybe some stronger storms, some periods of heavy downpours. And again, areas to the south of our viewing area, more central and southern Georgia, that's where we're going to see those maybe brief pop-up tornado possibilities. As we go into the beginning portions of next week, sunshine returns, those temperatures drop, and that's going to be with that cold northern air, that cold Arctic air that's going to flood its way into North Georgia. We start to rebound toward the middle of the week, and temperatures will become above average once again as we make our way closer toward next weekend. In the meantime, we have a big roller coaster. 80s possible today, and then we're going to be dropping to overnight lows in the 20s by early next week.
I mean, sun, rain, hot, cold. Georgia said, hey, have at all of the conditions this week. So, Lauren, thank you so much for keeping us updated. Real quick question. Of the 2 weekend days, if there were one to make plans on, it kind of seems like Sunday might be the better day.
Yes, correct. Because Saturday is going to be stormy. It's going to be rainy. We will get some brief periods of dry times, but overall, it's not going to be a great day to be outdoors. Sunday will be your better day because we'll get some sunshine. You just want to make sure you pack that jacket.
Awesome. Lauren, thanks so much. Guys, as we continue here, I want to switch gears and tell you, do you remember those astronauts who were stranded in space, those 2 astronauts? Well, now NASA's new boss is blasting Boeing and its space agency for that botched flight, that Starliner's botched flight. It left 2 astronauts stuck for months at the International Space Station and was only supposed to last really for a few days. Jared Isaacman upgraded the seriousness of the Starliner's troubled astronaut debut, declaring it a Type A mishap, which means it could endanger the life of astronauts. The 2 test pilots, you may remember them, Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams, spent more than 9 months at the station before catching a lift back with SpaceX last March. Now, Isaacman said poor leadership and decision-making at Boeing led to Starliner's troubles. Boeing said the report by NASA is going to help the company move forward in ensuring crew safety and stressed that the Starliner program for Boeing is going to continue. But there's no timeline for when Boeing can do a supply run to the International Space Station, and that's essentially a test flight to be able to test these flights before astronauts get on them. The grounding now leaves Elon Musk's SpaceX as the only U.S. taxi service for astronauts. Isaacman also blamed NASA's managers for failing to intervene and to get Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams back more quickly. And he said Starliner's problems must be better understood and fixed before any astronauts strap in. Take a listen.
Starliner has design and engineering deficiencies that must be corrected, but the most troubling failure revealed by this investigation is not hardware. It's decision-making and leadership that if left unchecked, could create a culture incompatible with human spaceflight. And the record is now being corrected. Today, we formally designate this event a Type A mishap to ensure lessons are fully captured for future missions. Programmatic advocacy exceeded reasonable bounds and placed the mission, the crew, and America's space program at risk in ways that were not fully understood at the time decisions were being contemplated. This created a culture of mistrust that can never happen again, and there will be leadership accountability. Now, our path forward, NASA will continue to work with Boeing, as we do all of our partners that are undertaking test flights. Sustained crew and cargo access to low Earth orbit will remain essential, and America benefits from competition and redundancy. But to be clear, NASA will not fly another crew on Starliner until technical causes are understood and corrected, the propulsion system is fully qualified, and appropriate investigation recommendations are implemented.
So that's something we'll continue to keep you updated on when Starliner does launch new flights. Like I mentioned, as of right now, the NASA is not planning to use this program because more testing, they say, needs to be done, and they want to make sure astronauts are kept safe. So as we continue, I want to take a look here closer to home at a really special human being. We're going to speak with a 14-year-old who's overcoming a rare diagnosis and disease, and explain why they've been named Angel of the Year. That's coming up next. Welcome back in, you guys. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being here. I want to continue with a story that we're following here in our newsroom because it involves an ex-Douglas County judge who's been found not guilty in a nightclub incident. You may remember when we reported on Douglas County Judge Christina Peterson and how she was facing obstruction charges. Well, a jury has found her not guilty of obstruction. The charge was connected to her arrest outside of a nightclub in Buckhead back in June of 2024. And one of the things that the jury did is deliberate really for less than an hour. It did not take them long at all to come to this verdict. The charge stemmed from that incident back in June where she was taken into custody outside the Red Martini restaurant and lounge after a confrontation with an Atlanta police officer. Initially, she was charged with simple battery and felony obstruction. The battery charge was dropped and the obstruction charge was downgraded to that misdemeanor. She filed a lawsuit against the city of Atlanta and the officer and accusing the officer of using excessive force. But we'll keep you updated on how that lawsuit progresses, but she has been found not guilty on those charges as of yesterday. I also want to let you know about the sentencing for Edric Faust. He was the man charged in the killing and now convicted of the killing of Tara Baker, and he's been sentenced to 2 consecutive life sentences in prison. A judge ordered that just yesterday in the courtroom. He was found guilty of 12 charges in connection to Baker's murder just earlier this week on Tuesday. You may remember Tara Baker was the UGA law student who was killed back in 2001. We heard from victim impact statements from both Tara Baker's family as well as spouse family before he was sentenced. But ultimately, we'll keep you updated if anything changes. At this point, though, he is expected to serve those 2 consecutive life sentences in prison. Another story that we're following here in our newsroom involves Roblox. This is something we've actually been speaking a lot about here on Fox Local because it involves a chilling case of online gaming that turned into real-world danger. And it ended with the arrest of a juvenile in Gwinnett County. Police officially charged the suspect yesterday with terroristic threats and acts after a year-long investigation. Investigators say it started on the popular gaming platform Roblox, where the suspect met the female victim. When the victim stopped responding, the suspect allegedly doxed her by posting her home address online. Beyond harassing the victim, detectives uncovered evidence of a, quote, kill list and messages detailing plans to hurt other women. Last year, the Gwinnett County Behavioral Health Unit assisted in a mental health evaluation after the suspect admitted to these threats. He's now being held, or that juvenile is now being held at a regional youth detention center, and Gwinnett Police is using this case as a stark reminder: never share your address or personal details with anyone online that you have not met, anyone met through online gaming. And authorities are really encouraging parents to monitor their kids' online activity and report any threatening behavior immediately. As we continue here at 2 o'clock, I want to keep you guys updated with that story that I just mentioned as we were coming out here, which is really, really heartwarming. And it actually involves a 14-year-old who's recently been named a miracle child at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. Our Kevin Stewart is following up on this. And Kevin, can you explain to us, what does it mean to be a miracle child?
A miracle child, someone who beat the odds and is now representing Children's Hospital of Atlanta as someone who they can help through the Children's Miracle Network raise money and awareness of what they do here and the need to treat children like Jalen Alexander with various ailments. In his case, it was non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is really fascinating because many kids do not get this. It's very rare. Oftentimes, what we have is men who are in their 40s and 50s who develop this. And we had a nice conversation with his mom, he and his doctor, and they talked about some of the big challenges. And I think really when you take a look at this, it's the story behind the story, really. Obviously, beating a disease like this is incredible in itself, but apparently he had this growth on his neck, his left side of his neck, that got bigger and bigger over the course of 6 months, and doctors couldn't determine what it was, which led the mom to continue to advocate for a child. Even after a biopsy, it wasn't until they actually removed the growth that they determined that this was non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which was really a big surprise. I want you to take a listen to this right now.
We had previously gone through lab work and having biopsies done and scans done, and it just became uncomfortable, and he just wanted to be a regular kid. So I asked the doctor if we could go ahead and have it safely removed so that he wouldn't have that pain anymore. The next day, the doctor called me to let me know that I would get a lot of phone calls and appointments scheduled because the lump that was removed was actually cancer. That was very scary because we went in for what I honestly thought was hormones. So we had to go several steps. He had had several rounds of antibiotics. He had blood work done that came back with no conclusion. He had ultrasounds done, CAT scans done, a biopsy that came back inconclusive. So to go through all those steps and there's no answer to why this is there, it wasn't until it was extracted that we had an answer. It's very scary to have to get that far before you get resolution, and many people don't have that advantage.
So advocacy was the lesson learned there?
Absolutely.
Most times you have to stick up for yourself to get what you need, because not all times are people going to be necessarily looking out for you specifically, but if they don't see something, they'll just overpass it, and you'll just have to make sure that you put your voice out there to get what you need for your health.
A lot of the symptoms are very similar to just general
childhood diseases. And so a given pediatrician may honestly see, 3 children in their career with cancer out of the 45 patients they see a day. And so I think by the time they come to me, I'm a pediatric oncologist. So the burden of proof, if someone comes to me with a lymph node like Jalen had, is always, at the top of my differential is cancer, but obviously I always get a biopsy first, et cetera. But I think that this is a not uncommon frustration, and I think that it's up to parents, to advocate. It's up.
Yeah, so you cover many stories every day, and sometimes what you see on face value seems like a story, but in this case, it really was the story behind the story. After talking to the mom first, and she really began to emphasize that, and really takes you aback. And we had that conversation with Jalen and his doctor, and definitely this is an issue that many cancer survivors, their loved ones, particularly when you're talking about pediatric cancer, their parents can relate to, and that advocacy really transcends just cancer. It transcends many different health conditions and a lot of things in life. And she says it's a tough lesson her son had to learn. Certainly didn't want to learn it that way, but it is a lesson that he did learn, and you heard that in that soundbite that we just played for you. Ariel?
Yeah, Kevin, I think that's really what struck me, is just his only 14 years old, but that really strong realization that I am my own best advocate, and we know our bodies, and we have to be able to say, this is just, I'm not feeling like myself, and I think this might be deeper. Healthcare systems are really busy, and a lot of times things can get overlooked or maybe passed on, and so I'm really happy that the story we're telling today is one of a miracle child.
Yeah, and he is, and that wasn't the reason why he was named a miracle child. It's just that he managed to beat this. He's 2 years cancer-free coming up this spring. So definitely, think about this. He was 12 years old at the time. So definitely happy to see he's doing so much better. He's a president of his beta club at his middle school up in Loganville. So we're definitely happy to see this and proud of him.
Kevin, that's absolutely so heartwarming and wonderful. I'm glad he's doing so well. It's kind of a final question to you, just as I'm thinking through things and what our viewers might be curious about. Were there any symptoms or warning signs, things he described that as a 12-year-old or as a child, he helped him understand that things might not be right? How do parents have these conversations? Like, what can they look out for?
In this case, it was just that growth, and that it kept getting bigger, and then began to become painful, and that's when they really decided to take a closer look to see what was going on. It went through antibiotics and all kinds of ultrasounds and all kinds of tests similar to that, and the thing that stood out to the mom was that even after a biopsy, they didn't know what it was. When they asked to have it extracted, that's when they knew what it was, and then the next set of appointments ramped up big time.
Kevin, thanks so much for bringing this to our attention. Really heartwarming. I'm so glad he's doing so much better. All the best to Jalen and his mom. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate you. As we continue, you guys, we're going to take you out to explore some Black-owned businesses here in Atlanta and beyond. The Georgia World Congress Center in honor of Black History Month. There's an event happening that's drawing thousands of people and hundreds of businesses. We're going to check it out with Chris Rosenthal when we come back. Welcome back in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being here. I want to take you out to the Georgia World Congress Center, where Atlanta Black Expo is happening, drawing hundreds of businesses and thousands of people to the center. So Chris Rosenthal joins us live now. Chris, what's happening today? What is this specifically taking a look at?
Yeah, absolutely. This event has been going on since 2023, and it's just starting here. Starts today and goes through the weekend. They've actually been having small business owners, black business owners, been meeting in panel sessions all day, meeting with other business professionals, getting advice on things like financial assistance and planning for really how to get your business off the ground. The section I'm at today, this area is being set up by a lot of businesses. About 300 businesses will be here, showcasing everything that they have. There's financial services, there's food businesses, there's real estate businesses. They call this sort of a Super Bowl of black business. The founder, Corey Moore, I was actually talking with him earlier. He said this really is inspired by 1895 Cotton States Exposition, where there were actually black businesses that were highlighted there as part of that exposition. So really a rich, deep history of African American businesses in Atlanta. But I did speak with Corey Moore earlier just about this event and why it's so important and why it's so helpful for all of these businesses. Let's take a listen.
This week is a celebration of black businesses. We're doing a 3-day, 5 events, 5 different activations that we're doing, and we're really just bringing together the black businesses and the community that supports them.
And why is that important? Talk to me about what these black businesses mean to this city and why it's important to support them.
Yeah, so when it comes to the economics of any culture, really it's ran through from business. I mean, when they're talking about the nation is ran by small businesses, well, these black small businesses are running, again, this our culture. But they need help right now, like the economy, is doing what the economy is doing right now. So the more exposure that they get is the more awareness that they get. The people actually see, oh, you do offer this, you do offer that, and we can actually spend our dollars with these businesses that supply the things that we need and actually look like us. So very important.
And talk to me about those businesses. What kind of businesses are we looking at? Are they small businesses, large businesses? What do they do?
So at the expo itself, majority of the businesses are small businesses that are black business, but we do have some very large businesses. We also have some corporations that are here. We actually literally have the Eli Lilly motor vehicle that's coming in, that's doing health screenings and stuff like that. So many different types of businesses actually support the black community in these businesses, but most of the business are these small business owners. They're solopreneurs. They created something out of their kitchen or out of their garage or whatnot, and now it's just learning how to scale it.
Gotcha. So this is really a good place if you're one of those businesses to come and learn how to grow and network, huh?
100%. We have workshops going on, but even outside of the workshops, to be able to see other businesses that maybe even have similar ideas or doing something that you had thought about doing, but you actually see them actually doing it. The goal is for that to be motivation for you to actually get out here, grow your business, network with other people, collaborate. We talk about collaboration all of the time, collaborate together, but this is how you meet these people to be able to do those collaborations.
Can make a big difference in your business. There will also be some food truck events and food competitions this evening. And again, you can go online to Atlanta Black Expo's website if you want to get tickets to come on down.
Awesome. Chris, seems like a wonderful event, and especially the historical tie based on the expositions that black businesses used to have, 100 or so years ago. Really incredible to see that this tradition's continued, and it's a way to share insight and expertise. So Chris Rosenthal, thanks so much for letting us know where this is happening and how we can get involved. As we continue, I want to take you out to the historic Greenbrier Mall because in continuing with Black History Month, there is a showcase happening that's really showing off some local, national, and internationally acclaimed artists. Eli Jordan's out there with us. And Eli, tell us a little bit about what's happening.
Hey, Ariel, out here at Greenbrier Mall, they're going to have the Black Artist Market for the next 2 weekends, and it's really cool. It's more than just, paintings and sculptures and things like that. It's also fashion. And, earlier last hour, we saw Avina with her fashion stuff. But this is where it's all going to happen. They're going to fashion the catwalk out here, and then got some other artists already set up. This will be going on for the next 2 weekends in observance of Black History Month. And Lydell Martin is one of the artists out here. And Lydell, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing all right. So all of this is your stuff, isn't it?
This is all of my pieces.
And then your wife, Cepeda, yes?
Cepeda, yeah.
Yeah, she helps you out with a lot of stuff. Tell me,
she does.
How excited are you for the next 2 weekends, to put a spotlight on the art and also Greenbrier Mall?
Yes, I think it's a great moment for Greenbrier Mall for what they're doing here with us artists to bring us in and feature our pieces the way that they're doing, especially during the Black History Month. I think it's very important that we let people know who we are, what we're doing, and the reason for doing that is to keep it in the community.
Awesome. And so these are your works. Tell me a little bit about them. Tell me, you got see a lot of gold leaf and stuff. I got feathers over here. Tell me what inspires you and just what is it about art that drives you?
Yes, a lot of the pieces that I create are created from the fashion industry. My mother was an artist as well, and she used to always challenge me. She would do a painting, and then she would ask me to do a painting similar to hers, and then we would compare it. But the way that she was doing it herself, she was actually teaching me how to trust my work. No matter what it is, just trust the work. And this is what led me to what I'm doing now.
And how long have you been doing art?
I've been doing art now for over 33 years.
Over 33 years, and you're here out of Atlanta. And Ariel, what's one really cool thing about Lydell's artwork? He made a series of bowls, and President Barack Obama got the #1 bowl that he signed a number, Lydell Martin. So that's pretty cool. That's if I gave a president something, I'd be talking about it all the time, and I wouldn't keep it a secret. But that's why I'm bragging for him,
Yeah.
But so Lydell, real quick, what would you tell people that are interested in coming down here? What would you tell them?
I would actually tell them to please come out. We're here today, which is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of this week. And we're also here Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of next week for the Denswa's Incredible Art Market. Okay, please come out and support what we're doing. Bring your children. You have to bring your kids because they have to get this culture. They have to understand why we're here and what motivates us to do what we're doing. And it makes it a lot easier when they bring the kids and the family and the reunion of our community together.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Lydell Martin. And that's, get your kids out here. Like you said, culture is important for kids to be exposed to, especially art and fashion. And, it should be a good time. And, next week they'll have the fashion show right out here. And, this is the next 2 weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, this weekend and next weekend. And they'll have fashion shows, some book signings, and you can come on out here to Greenbrier Mall. Check it out.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Eli. Really appreciate it. We'll definitely keep that on the radar as something to do this month. It's a really great event for people to be able to enjoy. So thank you. As we continue here, you guys, we've got a lot of things coming up to get to. Tom Haynes is going to be checking out your 3 o'clock hour. And we have,
that was very good.
Roughly 15 seconds, Tom. What's happening real fast at 3 o'clock?
We got the latest on the president's comments. Came out in the press room not too long ago with a scorching rebuke to the Supreme Court's ruling on tariffs this afternoon. We're going to cover what the president had to say. Tyler Finger going to join us in just a second about a father charged with shooting his 2-year-old. The 2-year-old got a handle of the father's gun, police say, and now this father is facing some very serious charges. This comes on the heels of another child that was shot. So too many children encountering guns. We're going to get to the bottom of both of these stories still ahead.
Tom, thanks so much. And guys, thanks so much for streaming here, being live with us. We'll see you right here at 3 o'clock.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local. I'm your host, Tom Haines, with you for the next hour live here in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom. We have a ton to get you caught up on today, beginning with the Supreme Court ruling on tariffs, striking down President Trump's ability to levy tariffs on other countries, delivering a critical blow to his economic agenda. The president coming out in the briefing room of the White House not too long ago in a stinging rebuke to the Supreme Court's ruling, speaking to reporters. And we're going to have full coverage of the president's remarks and what this ruling might mean to his economic agenda moving forward. The Dow Jones shrugging off the ruling this afternoon. In fact, stocks are up on the news today. The Dow climbing 147 points, starting the day down before the ruling came out when there was news of the Supreme Court's decision, but obviously happy about the fact that the unilateral tariffs on the part of the president have been struck down. So we'll continue to follow the markets and the fallout from this ruling. On a local note this afternoon, I'm joined by Tyler Fingert on a story that he's following here, the devastating shooting involving a 2-year-old. Police say the father responsible in this case and now charged with second-degree homicide. Tyler here following that case. Tell us a little bit more about the circumstances of this case and what happened here, Tyler.
Yeah, so Richard Willis appeared in court today. He was arrested on Wednesday after a shooting at his Sandy Springs apartment complex. A 2-year-old child was killed. And so what we know happened, according to arrest warrants, investigators say Willis and the child's mother had just returned to their Sandy Springs apartment from a medical procedure on Wednesday and put their 2-year-old down for a nap with a cell phone. Police say the father told detectives he removed a fanny pack containing a loaded 9mm handgun and tossed it onto the master bedroom bed. The warrant states Tyler later came downstairs saying the phone had died and asked his father to lay with him. Instead, investigators say the father told his son to go upstairs to the master bedroom where the gun was located and said he would follow shortly. Minutes later, the father told police he heard a gunshot. Investigators allege the father acted with criminal negligence by leaving the loaded gun unsecured and sending his son into the room where it was accessible, despite knowing, according to the warrant, the child was aware that the gun was kept inside the fanny pack. Willis faces murder and cruelty to children charges. In court today, we heard from Willis's attorney, and here's what he had to say about how the family is just devastated.
The family wanted me to, of course, express their profound thoughts and prayers, of course, for the loss of Baby River. And they were very much in favor of the court setting a bond in this case and allowing Mr. Willis to come home. They are actually on the Zoom under Deborah Willis. I had her kind of mute herself and turn her camera off, but I wanted the court to know that they all gathered together at the mother's home, and they are all there together in support of Mr. Willis, and we will have to deal with this issue on down the road.
Yeah, an incredibly tragic situation. As we know, Willis was not able to get a bond today based on the law. The magistrate judge is not allowed to set a bond in this case. That has to be done by an elected Superior Court judge of Fulton County. There will be a hearing for that, along with a preliminary hearing in March. So he could have 2 more hearings, or they could do a potential bond hearing in March as well at the same time as that prelim. Obviously, a devastating, tragic story, a 2-year-old child losing his life while just trying to take a nap. But obviously, for police, they say that he should have known where his weapons was, and he should have been more careful.
100%, especially when there are children present in the house, and there are seemingly too many instances of children having roundabout access to weapons inside homes. There's a different case, Tyler, that we're also following. This happened in the same day, actually, of a 4-year-old shot in the hand in our area. with the mother in that case facing charges. So this case isn't unique in its circumstances, because we got this other kid injured, shot in the hand because of it had access to a gun.
Yeah, it's an important reminder in that case. I know Gwinnett County Police put out a notice saying that people need to be incredibly careful if they own guns. They need to make sure they're locked and kept away from children. I mean, obviously, we know in situations, children you had kids, children like to touch things.
Everything.
Grabbing everything. In the case of with the Sandy Springs, it was in a fanny pack. I'm not quite entirely sure where the weapon was in the case of the Gwinnett County situation, but it's just a tragic reminder that you need to be careful with firearms. I know I was just talking to Fox 5's Tara Jabor. She's working on a story tonight about gun safety specifically, and she just texted me she's actually going to be speaking to Gwinnett County Police about gun safety and how people need to really keep things locked up and keep them out of reach of children.
We can't say it enough, because they're the innocent victims in all this, whether they're caught in crossfire, which also happens in our community, or getting their hands on a weapon.
Well, and you also have to think the child could have grabbed the gun, hurt themselves, and then hurt someone else if they're firing it or whatever. And so this could have been a lot more devastating. Obviously, in the Sandy Springs case, we know that that child died after being shot. In the case of the one in Gwinnett County, you were saying shot in the hand. Nevertheless, still traumatic for everyone involved, all sides of the family, plus just everyone. I mean, no investigator wants to go out there and investigate these types of cases, especially involving children.
All right, and the father in the first case involving the 2-year-old, not bonded out of jail. His trial and hearings will proceed here in the coming days and weeks.
Purely because of just how court procedures have to work.
Yeah.
Magistrate judges are not allowed to just set a bond, so that has to be done by someone elected, a Superior Court judge.
Tyler, thanks for the latest. As you know, President Trump was in our area here yesterday touting the economy. The president landing in Rome, Georgia, marking what was essentially a campaign stop to fill the seat of Marjorie Taylor Greene in a special election, a pivotal Senate race here in our state as well. John Ossoff, the senator from Georgia, defending his seat, being challenged once reliably read. As you know, Georgia now considered a battleground state. So expect to see more of not only the president, but perhaps the vice president, members of cabinet touring through the Peach State here in the run-up to the November midterm elections. This is all on the heels of that FBI raid in Fulton County, the election offices where those ballots were seized. Fulton County pushing back on that. But a lot of smiles up in Rome, which is a reliably red congressional district, as the president visited for a couple of hours. He touched down, visited small business, did a podcast here, and spoke to supporters at a local steel factory there, and then headed back to Washington, D.C. All right, the president arrived to D.C. This morning to be greeted by a ruling on the part of the Supreme Court related to his tariffs. The president not happy about the Supreme Court ruling, which basically struck down the president's unilateral ability to impose tariffs on other countries. Let's get to Caroline Shively live for us in Washington. Caroline, the president delivering a fiery rebuke in the briefing room this afternoon. Tell us a little bit more about the president's response to the Supreme Court ruling today.
Yeah, fiery is exactly right, Tom. President Trump was not happy. In direct response to the ruling, President Trump says he'll slap on a new 10% global tariff using a different authorization mechanism, and he says that could make even more money. Of course, that was in reaction to the justices who voted 6-3 that the president cannot use emergency powers to enact new tariffs, effectively blocking those country-specific reciprocal import taxes for now, and also potentially exposing the federal government to hundreds of billions of dollars in reimbursement claims, Tom.
Well, Caroline, the president had promised a tariff rebate, if you will, to all Americans. How does this money, this over $100 billion in tariff revenue collected, get rebated, if you will, to the companies that paid them? And are these tariff rebates that the president talked about now off the table?
The president did not mention that today, and he wasn't asked about that specifically. That was an idea that families potentially with this money could be given $2,000. Each family could be given $2,000. But he had also promised this potential money for other claims. So I think the odds of it actually going out are pretty low. $175 billion have been collected in tariffs so far. Those will be stopping, but the Treasury Department says with this new 10% global tariff, we could be at the same level in 2026 as we were last year. But as far as those rebates, we haven't heard anything about that, and the Supreme Court ruling didn't specify.
You know, the president has been talking about the use of tariffs forever, it seems. If you go on YouTube and you YouTube or Google Donald Trump tariffs, it goes all the way back to appearances on Oprah and back into the 90s, where he talks about tariffs as a very useful tool in our interactions with other countries for leverage purposes, for economic purposes. So what can we expect sort of moving forward? Will the president have any other tools at his disposal to deal with other countries?
I think he will. The White House officials were already posting online right after this ruling, saying this is not his only tool in the toolbox for tariffs. He has other ways. You're exactly right. For decades, he has been a proponent of tariffs. And it's important to know what specific tariffs will still be in effect. Specific tariffs on products like autos, furniture, pharmaceuticals, copper, steel. Those are not affected. They remain in place. And now we have this new 10% global tariff. What the Supreme Court said specifically, you can't go to a one country and say, I'm going to slap a tariff on you. But the global tariff, I think, will stick in place.
All right. Caroline Shively filling in some of the details as to what happened today, both at the Supreme Court and the president's response. Caroline, thanks so much. We talked about the president's response to the tariffs today. He did go into the briefing room to speak to reporters and was not happy with the Supreme Court's ruling, talked about other ways he could proceed with his tariff strategy. Let's listen to a little bit about what the president had to say today.
Wow, that's a lot of people. That's a new record. We set a record every time. Well, thank you very much for being here. The Supreme Court's ruling on tariffs is deeply disappointing, and I'm ashamed of certain members of the court, absolutely ashamed, for not having the courage to do what's right for our country. I'd like to thank and congratulate Justices Thomas, Alito, and Kavanaugh for their strength and wisdom and love of our country, which is right now very proud of those justices. When you read the dissenting opinions, there's no way that anyone can argue against them. There's no way. Foreign countries that have been ripping us off for years are ecstatic. They're so happy. And they're dancing in the streets, but they won't be dancing for long, that I can assure you. The Democrats on the court are thrilled, but they will automatically vote no. They're an automatic no, just like in Congress. They're an automatic no. They're against anything that makes America strong, healthy, and great again. They also are a, frankly, disgrace to our nation, those justices. They're an automatic no matter how good a case you have. It's a no. But you can't knock their loyalty. It's one thing you can do with some of our people. Others think they're being politically correct, which has happened before far too often with certain members of this court, and it's happened so often with this court. What a shame. Having to do with voting in particular, when in fact they're just being fools and lapdogs for the rhinos and the radical left Democrats, and not that this should have anything at all to do with it. They're very unpatriotic and disloyal to our Constitution. It's my opinion that the court has been swayed by foreign interests and a political movement that is far smaller than people would ever think. It's a small movement. I won by millions of votes. We won in a landslide. With all the cheating that went on, there was a lot of it, but we still won in a landslide. Too big to rig. But these people are obnoxious, ignorant, and loud. They're very loud, and I think certain justices are afraid of that. They don't want to do the right thing. They're afraid of it. This was an important case to me, more as a symbol of economic national security And also, I would say, just for our country itself, so important, because we're doing so well as a country. We've never done so well. The good news is that there are methods, practices, statutes, and authorities, as recognized by the entire court in this terrible decision, and also as recognized by Congress, which they refer to, that are even stronger than the IEEPA tariffs available to me as President of the United States. And in actuality, I was very modest in my ask of other countries and businesses because I wanted to do, and it's very important, I wanted to be very well behaved because I wanted to do anything, I didn't want to do anything that would affect the decision of the court, because I understand the court. I understand how they're very easily swayed. I want to be a good boy. I have very effectively utilized tariffs over the past year to make America great again. Our stock market has just recently broken 50,000 on the Dow, and simultaneously, and even more amazingly, broken 7,000 on the S&P, two numbers that everybody thought upon our landslide election victory could not be attained. Think of that. Nobody thought it was possible to do it within 4 years, and we did it in 1 year. They said you'll never be able, you'll go back and you read the geniuses, read their statements, all of the Nobel Prize winners in economics. They said, no, you couldn't do it in 4 years. Well, we didn't do it in 4 years. We did it in 1 year. We broke every record in the book, and we're continuing to do so. Tariffs have likewise been used to end 5 of the 8 wars that I settled. I settled 8 wars, whether you like it or not, including India, Pakistan, big ones, nuclear, could have been nuclear. Prime Minister of Pakistan said yesterday at the great meeting that we had.
President Trump there in the White House briefing room today, coming out in a stinging rebuke to the Supreme Court's decision that he cannot unilaterally assess tariffs on independent countries as a tool to engage in economic relations with those countries. The president very upset by that and saying that he has other mechanisms with which to use to exert that kind of economic power, leverage, and influence. That 10% global tariff that Caroline Shively was talking about not too long ago. We're going to find out here in the coming days, weeks, and months how the administration plans to proceed in the light of the Supreme Court's ruling. After all, it comes down to dollars and cents, right? When you and I walk into a Walmart, the price we pay for goods and services is a direct reflection on the policies of this administration and their use of tariffs with other countries. The Supreme Court deciding otherwise today, but the president says, I have other tools in my pocket that I can use to exert that kind of influence. So we'll have to see how that manifests here. The other day on board Air Force One, a reporter asked the president about UFOs, all right? And President Obama talking about the existence of UFOs. President wasn't happy, in his words, that the former president released classified data. But the question is, and remains, are they out there or are they not? The president says that he is ordering government agencies now to come clean about UFOs and the possibility of alien encounters. The Pentagon says that the department is looking forward to fulfilling the president's order. This follows some curious comments by President Obama, which I mentioned. President Obama has clarified his position on this issue and said that the distances between solar systems are so great that the chances we've been visited by aliens is low. And I saw no evidence during my presidency that extraterrestrials have made contact with us, really. So President Trump now deciding that he's going to order government agencies to come clean about UFOs and aliens. Listen.
Aliens are real. Well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. He made a big mistake.
All right, so that's the president speak on Air Force One about UFOs and his intention to release information on the existence of extraterrestrial life or not. We're getting more information about the U.S. and Iran. The president is weighing his options on what to do about Iran, despite a second round of talks this week in Geneva. President Trump threatening to launch an attack if a deal on Iran's nuclear program cannot be reached. Iranian forces and Russian soldiers are conducting drills as the U.S. continues to build up U.S. troops in the Middle East. The United States Gerald Ford aircraft carrier group is nearing the mouth of the Mediterranean Sea. And at the White House, this move comes as the president reportedly is weighing a limited strike on Iran, saying that Iran has 10 to 15 days maximum to reach a deal with the United States to decide whether or not the president is going to move forward with that plan. Also from the White House, the inaugural meeting of that Board of Peace that we heard so much about convened yesterday, dozens of countries in attendance to provide a status check on the situation in Gaza. And members have upped their pledge to $7 billion now, while others pledging personnel to help rebuild Gaza after the war with Israel. Total cost of rebuilding could reach $70 billion. Members also expected to commit thousands of military members for a stabilization force. A search is underway at the former Prince Andrew's residence to learn more about what prosecutors in Great Britain are calling his involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. Were British secrets shared with the former disgraced and now late financier? That's what British authorities are talking about now. This has reached the highest levels of the British monarchy, with Prince Charles coming out, acknowledging the investigation, saying that it should be investigated to the fullest extent of the law, and that the British Crown will not get anywhere near this case or stand in the way of the investigation. Let's listen to some of what the family of some of the victims had to say about this.
I can't call her. I can't tell her how proud I am of her. We can't tell her how much we love her, and that everything that she's been doing has, like, not in vain.
I mean, you can dig through file after file, testimony, deposition after deposition of Virginia's, and you can see how much she was telling the truth. And at this point, I think we have a feeling of vindication. And to be quite honest with you, I don't know if it'd be quite as much what she would say, but maybe what she would do. She'd be popping open a little cork of champagne right here and pouring it out for her survivor sisters, and taking a sip and cheersing up and saying, hey girls, we got a long way to go here, but let's take this one today.
That was the family of one of the victims of Jeffrey Epstein, Virginia Goff, who was at the center of a lot of this. Police say that Prince Andrew, former Prince Andrew, I should say, because he had his title stripped from him, was involved in interactions with her, inappropriate interactions with her. And so that was her family member reacting to the news that he is now officially being investigated by British police. When we come back, we're going to get a check of our forecast. Meteorologist Jonathan Stacey here on a Friday, looking ahead into the weekend. Nice day out there today, and the warmest we've been really all week. But is that going to continue into the weekend? And then some big changes on hand for next week when we come back. hard. Welcome back on this Friday afternoon on Fox Local. I'm Tom Haynes, joined by meteorologist Jonathan Stacy with you. Jonathan, on a beautiful Friday afternoon. What a way to end this work week on such a beautiful spring-like note. So, genuinely warm outside today.
It really is.
I know things are going to change up here, but how does the weekend look so far?
We have to savor the moment because this is absolutely amazing. In fact, I would say this is the best day weather-wise of 2026 so far.
Wow.
Yesterday, we hit a record yesterday, breaking or toppling a 135-year-old record. Today, we did it again. Just in. The current record, or the record that was in order before 3 o'clock, was 78 degrees, and we have managed to hit 79 degrees here in Atlanta, and that breaks the record that stood for today. Not as old as yesterday's record, but pretty old. This one was hit back in the 80s. So 80 degrees is the current temperature in Rome, 81 Covington and Eatonton, 75 Gainesville and Dalton, almost to 80 degrees down there in Thomaston. So I think we're going to keep it warm for just a little while longer. We have plenty of sunshine to work with up until the 6 o'clock hour. Temperatures falling down into the lower 70s before entering into the 60s, and then we'll put some 50s on the board. I do want to caution you that the rain chances go up overnight, and Saturday we have some weather coming through. I don't think the storms will be severe in our neck of the woods, but if you have interest down across east and central Georgia tomorrow, you could run into some gusty winds, some pretty nasty pockets as this line of energy moves through. So let's go ahead and talk about it, see if we can track this as it makes its way through our area. So this is overnight. So the skies will open up in a fairly isolated variety, some scattered showers kicking off. Your morning is 8 o'clock in the morning. The clouds are back. The sunshine that you are enjoying this afternoon will not be around this time tomorrow, or I should say tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. You'll have a spritz and a sprinkle out there. Much like today, a line is going to come through. Now the models are kind of saying the line may not come through until about 12, 1 o'clock, but you can see it here. There's something to work with, but it's not anything that's too disruptive. Through the 3, 4 o'clock hours, we'll watch that line eject to the east, and after that, I think there's possibly a solid lobe of energy that wants to move through around 6, 7 o'clock. But notice this, it moves through so fast. By the time you wake up Sunday morning, all of this in our rearview mirror, and we can bring in some drier conditions to end the work week, despite the fact that at least the first part of the day on Saturday will be a bit soggy. I'm only keeping the rain and storm chance at 40%. We'll have to watch to see what secondarily forms behind the initial line, but I don't really see any great opportunities for disruptive weather in our neck of the woods.
I'm just, my eyes are focused on, we're back into the 20s on Monday and Tuesday. Is this?
I just tried to keep it light and give you good vibes.
I know, but here's my line of the day. Is this winter's last gasp?
Is it running out of air?
I can't say that 10 times.
Is it running out of oxygen?
Is this winter's last gasp?
I would say, what is today? It is the 20th of February.
You guys really don't call it until the 1st of March.
Yeah, meteorological spring starts March 1st. So we have a week and a day to get through. But March is known for its dips, so is April and even May around here. We've had May days in which we don't get out the 40s, so I cannot say that this is the last gasp. I think winter has some more air, but this does let us know that the cycle is changing.
But you got people that want to put plants in the ground and start aerating their lawns, and
just hold up.
It's days like this outside that tease us into.
And you set yourself
a false reality.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it sets us up for dead plants.
It does. A lot of disappointment and wasted time and wasted seed. So
yeah,
hold your horses and just enjoy breathing the air, walking outside and not having to hassle with a coat, not having to hike up your heat as soon as you get in the car. Give your AC a little bit of a break, or your not the AC, but give the heat a bit of a break. Our bills need that, our electric bills.
Because Sunday's going to be nice. It's just going to be brisk.
Yeah, very breezy out there.
Yeah.
But the first part of the weekend, like I say, you kind of got a day that shapes up very much like today, tomorrow. Rain and maybe some rumbles of thunder during the first part of the day. The second half of the day is trending drier than not, although there could be some southern communities that get a little secondary round of rain during the afternoon.
All right, Jonathan, thanks so much.
See you,
man. Want to talk about the trial of Colin Gray, now in its fourth day now. He's the father of the accused Appalachia High School shooter Colt Gray. Excuse me, it's a fifth day now. This has been going on. Day 4's testimony focused on body cam footage showing law enforcement interacting with both Colin and Colt Gray. Today, yet more evidence being presented in the courtroom, and I believe these are live pictures from inside the courtroom as this trial goes on. Colin Gray there on the left side of your screen, right under that live graphic up in the upper left. Gray-haired gentleman sitting there talking to his defense counsel. Let's listen to part of what happened in court today.
Overall of a pair of swim goggles that I located in that bedroom, and inside the goggles you can see what was identified as one bore sight and one rifle cartridge.
Okay, and is that, fortunately we had that orienting picture. Is this zoomed in from where the previous picture was?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And we'll go to the next picture.
This is that same pair of goggles. It's just now been identified with evidence marker 22.
Okay, you said that was a bore sight and a cartridge in there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Just a close-up of the contents of the goggles.
All right, and that's .67. And is that object on the left the bore sight?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. .68.
This is an overall of the closet that was in Colin's room.
Okay. And .69.
Another overall focusing more on the top of the closet.
Okay. And .70.
One of my overalls photographing the top shelf that was in the closet.
All right, and it's kind of hard to see in this picture, and we'll see clearer, but what are those boxes that we're seeing?
Various ammunition boxes.
Okay. We'll go to the next picture. That's .71.
That's another overall. That's the opposite side of that same shelf in the top of the closet.
Okay. And the next slide.
These were overalls of some firearms that were located in that closet after I removed the clothing that was covering them.
Okay. Were there 2 firearms up there?
Yes, there were.
Okay. And we'll go to the next picture. That was .72. This is .73.
This is a overall photograph of a box of handgun ammunition that was in the top of the closet.
All right. And we'll go to the next slide, .74.
This is another overall of one of the firearms that's been marked with evidence marker 17.
Okay. And .75.
This was a pile of magazines that were located in the top of the closet that have been marked with evidence marker 19.
All right. And .76.
This is an overall of the closet, still with all the clothing on top of the contents of the closet.
Okay, so is this kind of on the left side of the closet?
Yes, ma'am. If you're facing the closet, it would be more to the left.
Okay. .76, and we'll go to the next one, .77.
This is the same boxes of ammunition that have been marked with evidence marker 16, and this photo, the clothing has been moved from on top of them.
Okay, and next, .78.
This is a close-up photo of all the boxes of ammunition that I retrieved from the top of the closet.
Okay, and I'll go ahead and ask, was that closet locked or secured in any way that y'all weren't able to get into it?
No, ma'am. The closet door was open when I got there.
Okay. So that's .78. We'll go to .79. What do we see here?
A close-up photo of the .40 caliber Smith & Wesson ammunition box.
Okay. And .80.
This was the contents inside that box.
Okay. And .81.
An overall of another ammunition box and the contents that were inside that box.
Okay. And .82.
An overall of a different ammunition box.
Okay, and we'll go to the next one, .83.
These were the contents inside that box.
Okay, and are all these that we're looking at recovered from that top closet shelf next to those firearms?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We'll go to the next one, .84.
An overall of a 12-gauge shotgun ammunition box.
Okay. We'll go to .85.
the contents recovered from that box.
All right, and is that your writing next to it identifying what it is?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and can you just read that for us if you could see it? I know it's not super clear.
Apologies if I pronounced the name wrong, but 16 cellular and billet 12 gauge shotgun shells.
Okay. And this is .86.
This is an overall of a different ammunition box and the contents of that box.
From Colin Gray's home, target sheets, all kinds of weaponry there, which really this trial is all about, the connection to Colin Gray's virtual arsenal of weaponry, and the access that his son Colt Gray, who prosecutors say was mentally unstable, access to that weaponry, and ultimately, according to police and prosecutors, his use of those weapons to carry out the deadly shooting at Appalachian High School. So the trial of Colin Gray continues now for the 5th day, something that we're acutely watching here. Our cameras are in the courtroom for every moment of that, and we'll continue to watch it and bring you up to date here on Fox Local as to any developments. Got a lot to get to when we come back, so stay with us. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks so much for streaming with us here in the 3 p.m. hour. I'm Tom Haynes, live in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom. I was just looking a second ago at a shot at Sandy Springs, a live picture, which was absolutely spectacular, demonstrating the beauty of today. And I mention it because the weather's going to change here in the coming days. But just a beautifully warm, sunny day outside. I hope you're enjoying it, but we appreciate you streaming with us here on Fox Local, on our streaming app, on your mobile device, or if you're watching at home through one of your channels, we appreciate you being here as well. A family is mourning the loss of a loved one after a horrific shooting in Atlanta. Angelique Proctor spoke to that family and is here now with more.
Travalis Talbert Jr.'s mother calls this a mother's worst nightmare. She says she will never understand why someone gunned down her firstborn son.
He was my world. He was my firstborn child.
Santrice Hawkins says this is a hard pill to swallow. Someone shot and killed her 21-year-old son, Trey Talbert Jr., here on Coleman Street in Southwest Atlanta. She says her emotions are racing.
I'm in total disbelief and I'm still in shock with so many emotions at the fact that somebody would just gun down my son that was so full of life, that was sweet, nice, compassionate.
Ms. Hawkins says Trey was the life of the party who lit up every room and touched so many lives.
He was just life of the party. He brought the energy. He brought that energy. He had that personality. Really a lot like me.
Atlanta police are investigating the homicide. They have not said much about how the 21-year-old was shot inside a home in the 900 block of Coleman Street. But this mom is confident detectives will find the killer.
I'm really upset because my son probably put his trust in too many people. And that's what I believe, that's why my son is deceased right now. I have confidence that my son will get justice that he deserves.
The family is hosting a viewing today. They will say their final goodbyes at a funeral service on Saturday. In Southwest Atlanta, Angelique Proctor, Fox 5 News.
All right. Angelique, thanks so much. Boy, your heart goes out to that family, and we certainly wish them well. As we continue here, February is Black History Month. We're at a couple of very cool places here in our city. One, an expo bringing a lot of small Black-owned businesses together. And then the other is sort of an artist showcase at Greenbrier Mall with some very, very cool, spectacular pieces for you to see when we come back. Welcome back, everybody. So happy you're streaming with us this afternoon. I'm Tom Haynes, live in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom. We have been celebrating Black History Month all month long. It is February after all. So I want to get out to Eli Jordan, who's live for us at Greenbrier Mall. Eli, I've been watching you here in the 1 and 2 p.m. hours, showing us some extraordinary art and fashion and all kinds of things on display there to commemorate Black History Month.
Oh yeah, there's all sorts of really cool stuff out here, Tom, and it's going on not only this weekend, but next weekend as well. A fashion show right out here. I'm out here in the next to the old Macy's and stuff. But check out the Jokita's got the stained glass stuff over here, and which is really, really, really cool. And then also too. Henry Osajifo Colby, he's a jeweler, and he's got all sorts of stuff here. Henry, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Eli.
So tell me, How excited are you about this weekend, and what kind of stuff are you showing off to the patrons that come out here?
We've been doing art shows forever. This is a pretty good one. We put it together. I'm part of the committee, and I think it's going to be great. It was great earlier in December. We're going to make it better this time.
Gotcha. And what kind of work do you do?
Well, I'm a silversmith, and I'm also a lapidarist. I cut stones. I do silver fabricated and casting work. I also do 14-karat gold, bronze, brass, and whatever.
And whatever. How long have you been doing this?
This is my 55th year in business.
So I see a lot of silver, and I see a lot of copper. Now, there's some positive energies and beneficial, beneficial wear.
Copper draws impurities from the body. It's an electromagnetic concept that helps blood flow, and it gives you the energy to touch it and feel free about doing what you're doing from almost a dream world perspective. Creativity is, I guess, the word I'm searching for. And it gives us that energy to make us feel quite creative. And if you look at the things that you're doing here, you don't see a lot of the things replicated. They're all original design. Many of them are one of a kind.
I like these shells in these rings. Those are nice.
They're called cowrie shell. At one time, that was considered in West Africa money. It's peace, power, and prosperity. As times changed, money changed.
Right on. And tell me, are you going to be out here next weekend as well?
I intend to be here next weekend. I'm part of the steering committee, and yes, by the grace of God, I will be here.
And just how excited are you to have this, to be able to be a part of it? And what do you hope patrons will walk away with, come and experience and seeing the art and culture of during Black History Month?
Well, quickly, as I told you earlier, art is personification of any given culture. That culture then provides the political direction that we as a people, or any people, will move into to make a better life for themselves and future generations.
So what do you tell people that are watching? Don't have anything to do this weekend or next?
Come on down and have a good time. Enjoy the fashion show, the African dance program, and then get involved with a lot of the artists here. Talk with them. Enjoy what it is that they're doing. Listen to them and spend some money with them. We say, if you see it and you like it, try it and buy it.
That's one thing about artists. I mean, you hear a lot of stuff about starving artists because, they need the money. They got a lot of friends who say, hey, can you give me a discount?
Yeah.
But,
and the answer is yeah.
Exactly. And that's what people in a bind. But yeah, come on out here and spend some money because a lot of heart and soul, Tom, has been put into a lot of work out here. And it's a lot of unique work. And it'll be out here for the next 2 weekends, along with the fashion show. And some book signings happening next weekend as well. So come on out here, check out Henry's work. I mean, he'll be out here for a while. And we got Jaquita over there with her stained glass, and so it should be a good time.
Well, what I love about it,
Henry, thank you very much for talking.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Tom, go for it.
What I love about it is, Eli, that these are unique pieces that you can't find anywhere else because they're crafted individually by these talented artists, and you can't walk into a department store, you can't walk into a Macy's or somewhere like that to buy one of these pieces. If you buy one of them, you're going to be the only person that has something like that.
That's right. I mean, these are very unique, correct, one-of-a-kind, handmade individual pieces that, as you said, you can't buy them anywhere. They're one of a kind, and they're all original pieces, and that's what makes them so much special and cool to have because. You hang on to a piece, and especially jewelry, you wear that for years, decades, and that becomes a part of you. And it's good when you know that it's handmade and by a cool artist or whatever, and not some factory-made stuff. And it just adds a little bit more meaning to it.
Yeah, and it's not only jewelry, Eli, but down the whole mall. And I presume that this is one of those malls that's kind of fallen by the wayside, and so that there's pop-up space, if you will, for these artists and exhibitionists to go in there and display their stuff. But a great venue. Just real quick, remind us where you are so that if people wanted to come, it's Friday, if people wanted to come down this weekend to check it out, where exactly is the Greenbrier Mall?
Greenbrier Mall. So if you go down I-75 and you take Langford Parkway, if you take Langford Parkway and then you go west on Langford Parkway, it's almost all the way to the 285 perimeter. And so if you get off at the last exit off of Langford Parkway, Greenbrier Mall is just around the corner.
All right, a great opportunity, great stuff, beautiful jewelry and clothing there out on display for you to purchase if you'd like to do that. Eli Jordan, thanks so much. From one incredible exhibit to the next, let's get out to Chris Rosenthal at a venue right now bringing together Black-owned businesses at an expo that is there to also sort of commemorate Black History Month. Chris?
Congress Center for the Atlanta Black Expo. They've actually been doing this since 2023. This is one of the biggest years yet. It's really kind of a buzz right now as some of these businesses are all getting their booths set up here for the weekend. This starts today and goes on all weekend long. They're anticipating about 300 businesses and several thousand people showing up. All kinds of businesses. We have a tax business here, financial businesses. We have realtors here. We have food businesses, all kinds of all kinds of options, all kinds of businesses, small businesses. During the day today, there have been a bunch of panels that small business owners have been able to meet with other larger companies and representatives to get sort of a mentorship, get tips, get advice about where to start, where to go, how to get financial assistance, all kinds of things like that. But I am joined by Melvin Coleman. He's with the Atlanta Black Chambers here. And first of all, thanks for joining us here today.
Well, thank you for being here.
Yeah, so, tell me about this event. Why is this important to Black businesses here?
Well, it's called the Black Expo because that word expo, especially small businesses, need exposure. And so first and foremost, that is what this is about. Thousands of people will come here and they will see fantastic small businesses for the first time. And those initial relationships, that connection, that's a long-term investment in their success. So this is the place to be, the Atlanta Black Expo, if you are a small business owner.
And talk to me about just sort of the history of Black businesses. Why, how rooted are they here in the rich culture of Atlanta here?
Well, you said the word, rich culture. There's a long history, a strong legacy of Black business ownership and Black business success, in particular in Atlanta. And people all over the world know it, and they expect something like the Atlanta Black Expo to take place here and for it to be a big deal. And so we intend to live up to those expectations.
Tell me about the variety of businesses we have here. It's a little bit of everything, huh?
That's another great point. The diversity, the variety of businesses. You're going to see Black-owned businesses in spaces and industries that you never expected or never thought that, wow, that's a Black-owned business in technology or some professional services area. It's all going to be here at the Atlanta Black Expo because they want that exposure.
What do you hope they take away from these businesses here?
Well, the businesses, they're going to take away new relationships. They're going to take away a new optimism about what they can achieve because they've been in the midst of so much activity and so many transactions all taking place in one place at the same time, like a concentration of nothing but like, whoa, I wish I could do this every day, but you can't. Yeah. Only at the Black Expo.
Yeah, and those little connections, sometimes it's just one connection, one network opportunity that can make a real big difference, huh?
Well, a couple of things. The businesses will be networking with each other. That way they can partner and collaborate, and that puts them in position to scale. We need our businesses to scale and have greater capacity to pursue bigger opportunities. So you have that going on, but then you have the consumers coming in to spend and invest with these businesses. And so everything that's happening here over this weekend is very important, and this is very important work.
Yeah, so this isn't just for businesses. Consumers can come here and check out some of the businesses that are here that may have something for them to offer to a consumer.
This is for consumers, all consumers, not just Black consumers.
Yeah.
This is for everybody. This is a showcase for the whole world to see fantastic Black-owned businesses. And we want everybody, we deserve to have everybody spending money with our businesses.
Wonderful. Melvin Coleman from Black Chambers. Thanks for joining us here today. This event, like I said, they are getting it all set up. People are getting their booths all set up. These businesses, such a variety, and actually this evening they're going to have a foodie event. So you can come try all kinds of different food items from these businesses, and this will be going on all weekend here at Georgia World Congress Center. And you can get tickets online. Just go to the Atlanta Black Expo website.
So anybody can, it's not just for business owners, as you said, anyone can come attend. They can check out the small businesses, enjoy some great food, right, Chris?
Absolutely, yeah. You could check it out. You could, if you're shopping around, here's a contractor if you're looking for something like that, or there's financial services here.
Great.
So you can get lots of ideas here as well. So.
And real quick, you're at the Georgia World Congress Center, correct?
That's correct, Georgia World Congress Center.
All right, so if you're looking for something to do this weekend, there it is. Chris Rosenthal live for us this afternoon at the GWCC. Chris, thanks so much. And thank you for joining us here on a Friday edition of Fox Local. I'm Tom Haines, live in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom. The news continues right here, right now.